Chapter 751. The following is provided for you, 751. Please enjoy. The flames transformed into the form of a little vermilion bird before flying toward the ball of death. The sound of the flames breaking through the air was loud and hurried. The little vermilion bird flew into the deathly aura and quickly burned it. In less than a minute, the deathly aura was completely burned away. After the little vermilion bird burned the ball of death energy, it pounced on the person behind it. Following a miserable cry, the ghost also disappeared from time to time. When the other ghosts saw this, they were so frightened that they scurried everywhere. They wanted to fly away, but they were targeted by the little vermilion bird, who chased them everywhere. Even a little bit of it would be burned clean. What powerful flames! Feng Er's mouth gaped open as he stared at the little vermilion bird in shock. This isn't an ordinary flame. Feng Yi said, "Even if it's us, I'm afraid." The little vermilion bird flew one round and more than half of the ghosts were burned to death. When Sima Yue saw that it was about the same, she took it back. At the same time, she condensed her wood element spirit energy and turned it into a long green vine, trapping the remaining ghosts. The wood attribute was also an attribute that countered death energy. Sometimes, it was even more useful than the fire attribute. The ghosts were tied up and did not dare to struggle, because if they struggled, they would come into contact with the green vines. The vigorous life force was like a poison to them, causing them heart-wrenching pain. Sima Yue walked over and circled around them. "How is it? I told you that your death aura is useless, but you didn't believe me. What kind of flame is that? Why is it so powerful?" Sima Yue summoned the flame and played with it between her fingers. "This flame is specially made to deal with you," she said. "If you can tell me what happened at Bright Red Mountain Peak, I will give you a quick death. If you don't tell me, I can let you have a good taste of my little birdie's power." The flame didn't seem to like the name she gave it, and jumped on her hand a few times to show its protest. However, he was magnificently ignored by her. "We won't say a word." One of the ghosts had a backbone and was not threatened by Sima Yue. Sima Yue did not waste any more time. She released Birdie, and by the time she returned, the man had already turned into ashes. "What about you guys? Are you not going to tell us?" Sima Yue stared at them coldly. She was prepared to kill anyone who refused to tell her. I'll talk. One of the ghosts didn't want to die and said loudly, "Ah," but as soon as he said a word, he suddenly screamed, and then his throat seemed to be grabbed by something. His eyes bulged and his tongue stuck out. He stretched out his hands and clasped his neck, trying to pry the invisible hand away. However, the moment he touched his neck, it turned into a strangling. Ugh! The man struggled in the green vines, and when his body came into contact with the vines, he was turned into a cloud of death chi. "What's going on?" Sima Yue looked at the death aura in surprise. Before Feng Yi and Feng Er could say anything, the others had also turned into clouds of death chi and dissipated in the air. It was just that the process wasn't as painful. Sima Yue removed the green vines and looked across the Yi River. At the same time, on a mountain peak in the Bright Red Mountain Peak, a beautiful and enchanting man opened his eyes. Someone actually saw through it. "Seems like this person can't be left alive. Send someone to get rid of her." The man's voice was pleasant to the ears, but there was no warmth in it. He talked about killing people as if it was normal for him to cultivate. Yes. There was a ripple in the air. Before she left, she heard the beautiful man say, "Go after 2 days. Protect me for now." "Yes, master." The space returned to normal as if there was no one there. Outside the Yi River City, Sima Yue was preparing to return when a few figures flew towards them. "Are you guys all right?" The Yi River City Lord asked with concern. "So it's the City Lord." "We're fine." Sima Yue said, "Why is the City Lord here?" "We were preparing to return to the city, but we didn't expect to hear a commotion. When we rushed over, we found that those people were already dead. We heard that there was a fight here, so we rushed over to take a look." The Yi River City Lord said, "Luckily you guys are all right. Those people are all dead." Sima Yue asked. "Yes, they're all dead." The Yi River City Lord said, "Did you guys encounter those creatures just now?" "We did. Sima Yue said. Then do you know what they are? The E River City Lord asked. I saw them. Sima Yue saw that the E River City Lord was not bad, so she was willing to give him some pointers. Those are ghosts from the ghost realm. They came to harm people this time, so they must be under someone's control. People from the ghost realm? The E River City Lord's reaction was the same as Chou Xiaotian's. They did not believe that people from the ghost realm would come to the human realm to do evil. Did the City Lord notice that the corpses of those who just died seem to have been dead for a long time? Their wounds have a highly decomposed aura? Sima Yue asked. The E River City Lord nodded. That's right. If they're not from the ghost realm, how can there be such injuries? Sima Yue said. The E River City Lord and the people behind him were silent. People from an unknown world had invaded the human realm. This result was worse than they had imagined. I heard that people from the ghost realm are very strong. I wonder how young master will deal with them? A person behind the city lord who did not look like a guard asked. People from the ghost realm are indeed stronger than humans because of the death aura protecting their bodies. However, we just need to find a way to restrain them. Sima Yue said, to deal with them, people with fire, wood, and lightning attributes will do. Even if people of other attributes went, it would be useless. Also, you have to be careful not to let them get close to your body because they will suck your soul. Thank you, young master, for the information. The E River City Lord cupped his hands towards Sima Yue. Young master, are you going back to the city? Sima Yue saw that the east was already turning white and shook her head. I still have things to do, so I won't be going back. Young master, what are you going to do? Do you need my help? The city lord asked. No need. Sima Yue said, I'm going over there to take a look. You can't help me even if you want to. You're going over there? Everyone looked at her in surprise. Yes, I'm going to take a look. Sima Yue said, Feng 1, Feng 2, you don't have to follow me this time. Go back to the inn and protect my brothers. But young master, I don't like disobedient people around me. Sima Yue said. Feng 1 and Feng 2 were silent for a while before saying in unison, we understand. We will protect their safety. If it's not safe here, let them leave Zhongzhou. Don't wait for me. She added. Yes, young master. Sima Yue nodded towards the E River City Lord and called out Chong Ming and Xiao Meng. She brought them to the other side of the E River. Thank you, everyone. Chapter 752. The following is provided for you, 752. Please enjoy. City Lord Xiao saw that Sima Yue had left and Feng 1 and Feng 2 did not follow. He could not help but ask, aren't you worried about your young master? Young master has always been a man of his word. Even if we go, we won't be of much help. Feng 1 said. City Lord Xiao, we still have to go back and protect young master's brother and companions. Goodbye. Feng 1 and Feng 2 cupped their hands towards City Lord Xiao and turned to leave. City Lord Xiao watched them leave and asked the people behind him, do you think what they said is credible? City Lord, I think what they said should be correct. The situation of those corpses does not seem like something an ordinary person could do. If it was done by people from the ghost realm, then the abnormality of the corpses can be explained. I also think that the possibility is higher. Another person agreed, no matter how strong the person who entered Bright Red Mountain Peak is, the result is the same. Moreover, it was always done silently. If it was not done by the other world, then there is no other reason. That's right. But since he did not know that they were from the ghost realm, why did he cross the river and go to Bright Red Mountain Peak? I think he should have a way to restrain those ghosts. City Lord Xiao said, look here. There should have been a battle before we arrived, and the result was obviously her victory. No matter what, he dared to go to Bright Red Mountain Peak alone. This is worthy of respect. The last time someone went, you scolded him for being stupid. How did it become respect this time? The last time, those people did not even understand the cause of the matter and did not know how to deal with it. If they were not stupid, then what was? But he is different. He knows the cause and has a way to deal with it. For the peace of the ancient primordial lands, He went alone to solve the problem. If this is not worthy of respect, then what is? How do you know that he will be fine? Maybe they'll stay there forever like the people before them. Didn't you see that the two monarch-ranked experts did not follow him? Although they were worried, they did not insist on going. This means that they believe in him and that he will not be in danger this time. Only you know. City Lord Xiao said, "Let's go back. After what happened tonight, I am afraid that the entire Mushui city will not be peaceful tomorrow. I hope they won't tear down my City Lord mansion." City Lord, if those people ask about the situation, what should we say? City Lord Xiao was silent for a while before saying, "Tell me the truth." He was afraid that once the primordial lands found out the truth, it would cause another storm. Fatty Chu had been waiting in the house for Sima Yu the entire time, but in the end, only Feng 1 and Feng 2 returned. Yu Yu's shadow was nowhere to be seen, so he hurriedly pulled the two of them aside to ask. Feng 1 and Feng 2 told them about what happened last night. When they heard that Sima Yue really had a way to deal with the Ghost Clan, they heaved a sigh of relief. That's right, Crimson flames are the bane of all darkness, and so is lightning. Yu Yu's lightning attribute cultivation method has already reached a certain level. If this is still not enough to deal with them, you can still attract heavenly tribulation. Wei Ziqi said, "The elders of the Egret clan are much stronger than us. If we go, we will become a burden to her." Ouyang Fei said, "Looks like we have to go into seclusion to cultivate after we go back to the academy. Yu Yu has already left us too far behind. We have to work hard to catch up. Otherwise, we won't be able to keep up with her." Bei Gongtang said as well. Yu Yu was already a beginner divine saint expert, while they had just advanced to divine overlord. Fatty Chu hadn't even advanced to divine overlord, so he couldn't even fly on his own. Although Yu Yu's achievements were related to her 2 years of experience, luck was also a part of strength. Fatty Chu thought about the gap between them and lowered his head in self-abasement. Bei Gongtang saw him like that and patted his shoulder, saying, "You're also very powerful. You'll be able to catch up to us in no time." That's right, Fatty Chu. If you put your thoughts on cultivation instead of eating, you'll be able to catch up to us in no time. Wei Ziqi said with a smile. Fatty Chu walks the path of cultivation. Even if his cultivation can't compare to ours, his battle prowess isn't any worse than ours. Sima Yuran said. Fatty Chu saw that everyone was comforting him and broke into a smile. At the same time, he secretly decided that he would work hard to cultivate when he returned and try his best to catch up to them. On the morning of the second day, the entire city knew about what happened last night. When the people in the city heard that a divine paragon had been killed, they all ran to the city lord's residence to confirm. The news that came from the city lord's residence was even more shocking. The strange things that happened in Bright Red Mountain Peak and outside of Mushui City were all done by ghosts. When this news came out, everyone was in an uproar. Many of the cowards left Mushui City that day, and some of the braver ones didn't dare to go out, wondering if they should go back. There were also some who contacted their sects to ask about their next move. And this news spread throughout the entire central province in less than a day. This speed was shocking. Those large sects also had their own responsibilities. When they knew that ghosts had appeared in Bright Red Mountain Peak, they all sent people over. Because of Mushui City's reminder, those who came later were of the wood, fire, and lightning attributes. In these 2 days, more people came than left. Mushui City was more lively than ever. City Lord Xiao had been welcoming people from various sects these 2 days. Normally, he wouldn't have to do this, but this time, the situation was special. The people who came were of higher status, and they came to solve the Bright Red Mountain Peak issue, which indirectly protected the safety of Mushui City. City Lord Xiao, I have something to ask City Lord Xiao. An old man stood by the river, looking across the river with a serious expression. Chou Xiaotian and his master were standing behind him, showing his noble status. Please speak, Sect Master Wang. Xiao Yi nodded slightly at the old man. The passers-by were wondering who Xiao Yi was accompanying, but after hearing Xiao Yi's greeting, they realized that this old man was Xinjiang Sect's Sect Master Wang Shi. City Lord Xiao, before this, No one knew that the bright red mountain peak incident was done by ghosts. How did you know? Wang Shi asked. I'm ashamed to say this, but I didn't think of it first. Xiao Yi said, I only found out after receiving advice from others. Advice from others? Who is it? Chou Xiao Tian's master Yu Tian Yuan asked. To be able to discover this before City Lord Xiao, could it be an expert from somewhere? Not at all. Xiao Yi said, that person is just a 30-year-old kid. A 30-year-old kid can discover the truth behind this? Yu Tian Yuan couldn't believe it. Indeed. City Lord Xiao didn't feel embarrassed to say it, and recounted the events of that night from beginning to end. When Chou Xiao Tian heard this, he blurted out, You're not talking about that kid Yue, are you? I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the fight against obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you everyone. Chapter 753. The following is provided for you, 753. Please enjoy. I sent someone to investigate. That person is indeed called Sima Yue. Xiao Yi said, Why, does young Master Chou know her? I know her, of course I know her. Chou Xiao Tian said, I told senior brother that a friend told me that this was done by the ghost clan and was reprimanded by senior brother. It was Yu Yue who told me. She told you? Wang Shi asked. Yes, sect master. Chou Xiao Tian recounted how he met Sima Yue and the rest in the small village. Xiao Tian, how do you know her? Yu Tian Yuan asked. Master, I told you before that I was able to come back alive from the Heavenly Tiger Ridge because of her help. Chou Xiao Tian said. You did say that a group of people helped you. Yu Tian Yuan said. Since you told Mu Gang, why didn't you report it to the sect? Wang Shi's face darkened. Because senior brother and the rest said that it was wrong. It was impossible for someone from the ghost realm to come. So he told me not to say anything. He also said that he would tell Master not to worry. I thought that he had already told Master. Chou Xiao Tian lowered his eyes, hiding his thoughts. Who asked you to make things difficult for me? If I don't make you pay, I'm not Chou Xiao Tian. Hiding such an important matter and not reporting it, it would be strange if the sect didn't punish him. If he wanted to court death, no one could stop him. Wang Shi didn't know that Mu Gang and the rest were ostracizing Chou Xiao Tian, but Yu Tian Yuan knew. However, he had mentioned it twice and didn't want Mu Gang to act like this even though he agreed on the surface. Sect Master, let's investigate this matter later. Right now, we have to think of a way to solve the bright red mountain ridge issue. Yu Tian Yuan said. Wang Shi nodded. It was not appropriate to deal with the sect's matters outside. What about that little friend? After she told me the truth, she crossed the river and went to the bright red mountain ridge. It has already been 2 days. Xiao Yi said. What? Yu Yue went to the bright red mountain ridge? Chou Xiao Tian exclaimed, attracting the attention of the crowd. They were all guessing who exactly went there. I saw the people around her today. She didn't bring anyone with her? No, she didn't bring her 2 bodyguards, she went alone. Mu said. What? She actually went alone. How could she go alone? No, I have to find her. Chou Xiao Tian said and wanted to leave, crossing the river. Stop right there. Yu Tian Yuan shouted. What's the point of going there other than throwing your life away? But she went there alone. Chou Xiao Tian said worriedly. Don't worry, Sheng. Wang Shi said, her bodyguards are all monarch-level experts. Since she didn't bring any, it means that she has enough confidence. That's right. Could it be that you think you're stronger than a monarch rank expert? Yu Tian Yuan glared at him unhappily. That's right. Xiao Yi said, that young master's bodyguard wanted to go with her at that time, but was left behind by her. This means that she doesn't need an ordinary person to accompany her. If you go, you might even drag them down. Yu Tianyuan's words were very straightforward, giving Chou Xiao Tian a huge blow. Master? Chou Xiaoyan looked at his master speechlessly. However, the impulse in his heart had been suppressed. They were right. If she didn't bring her bodyguards, it meant that they would be a burden to her. If he went to find her, he might really drag her down. That's right, Fatty and the others definitely know about Yo Yue's situation. Master, sect leader, I'll go ask them. Yu Tianyuan actually doted on this disciple. As long as there was no danger, he could do whatever he wanted. Zhou Xiaoyan left, and Wang Shi asked Xiao Yi, I wonder what City Lord Xiao plans on this matter? We can't let a little child be responsible for the entire continent, right? Sect leader Wang is right. Xiao Yi said, that's why I'm going to discuss with everyone and see if we can send some people to investigate. Wang Shi nodded, as a power of the continent, we also have to fulfill our obligations. If you want to go, my Xinjiang sect will fully support you. Thank you, sect leader Wang. Xiao Yi bowed to him. We're just doing what we should do. Wang Shi said, I wonder how that little friend is doing over there. Sima Yue was currently fighting with a group of evil spirits. These evil spirits were different from the ones they had met before. Those ghosts had their own thoughts, but these evil spirits didn't have their own thoughts at all. They were just puppets that were being controlled. They didn't know when to advance or retreat. They only knew how to follow orders and wouldn't give up until they reached their goal. Furthermore, their strength was much higher than the average ghost. Sima Yue didn't use Crimson Flame's flames to deal with them. Instead, she used fire elemental magic to weave a rain of fire towards the evil spirits. Those evil spirits were still a little afraid of Sima Yue's fire. They didn't have their master's death aura, so their own death aura wasn't enough to deal with her. Soon, the first wave of evil spirits was completely annihilated. However, before Sima Yue could catch her breath, the second wave of evil spirits came. Before the second wave was completely annihilated, the third wave came. Thousands and thousands of evil spirits surrounded her, fighting to be the first to tear her apart. What the hell? Why are there so many evil spirits? Sima Yue's body ignited with a ball of flames. The scorching heat caused the evil spirits to retreat a few steps, not daring to move forward rashly. Since you're all so enthusiastic, I'll treat you all to a feast. She condensed her lightning elemental spiritual energy, causing the dark clouds in the sky to descend lightning under her control, striking the evil spirits. Lightning was originally a punishment of justice. The evil spirits were considered filthy beings. When the lightning struck them, they were directly struck into thin air. Yue's move was different from the lightning elemental attacks that others used. Normally, others would directly use lightning elemental attacks. However, she merged with the heavens and earth, causing the sky to change and forming lightning. Although the power of this move wasn't as strong as the lightning tribulation, it was more than enough to deal with these evil spirits. Sensing the terrifying aura in the air, the evil spirits were only stunned for a moment before they charged towards Sima Yue again. What a bunch of idiots! Sima Yue couldn't help but curse when she saw the evil spirits charging towards her like moths to a flame. Withdraw! A cold voice came from the top of a hill far away. Following his shout, all the evil spirits retreated. Sima Yue looked over and saw a figure standing there with a white sail in his hand. The evil spirits that were attacking her all flew towards the white sail and disappeared. That person glanced at her. His gaze was filled with the aura of death, causing people to be tired of life and want to end their own lives. That person only glanced at her and didn't have the intention to continue fighting with her. He turned around and jumped down the hill to leave. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the special campaign to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you, everyone. Chapter 754. Sima Yue retracted her lightning attribute spiritual energy and the dark clouds in the sky quickly dissipated. She chased in the direction that the man had disappeared, but when she reached the hills, the man had disappeared. Xiaomeng, what did you see just now? Sima Yue asked Xiaomeng. Xiaomeng appeared by her side. Her small face no longer had the usual naivety, nor did it have the evil charm when she tricked others. Instead, she solemnly looked into the distance and said, if I'm not mistaken, that's the 100 Ghost banner. 100 Ghosts banner? What's that? Is it scary? Sima Yue looked at Xiaomeng's expression and guessed that it must be something extraordinary. It's a netherworld artifact used to refine souls. Little Dream said, my inheritance didn't specifically mention this thing. It only said that if you meet someone who has the 100 ghost banner, you have to stay far away and not confront them directly. Your ancestors still passed these down? The boundary between the devil realm and the ghost realm is not as difficult as the human realm. There are still some people who interact with each other. Little Dream said, that's why the devil realm knows a thing or two about the ghost realm. But since it's not the same world, I don't know much about it. Since the inheritance said so, it means that this thing is very powerful. Sima Yue rubbed her chin and said, so many evil spirits were sucked back at once. You must be the thing controlling the evil spirits. If he could get his hands on this, wouldn't it be awesome when he went to the world of spirits and souls in the future? Who didn't take the time to look at? You closed the door and released evil spirits. Your idea is not bad. However, those who possess the 100 Ghost Banner are not ordinary people. Since they dared to come to the primordial lands, their master should be very powerful. If you want to steal his treasures, you'll have to deal with him first. That's true. Sima Yue sighed and put this thought aside. Little Dream, is it really useful for Mo Sha to absorb those souls? I think so. Little Dream wasn't sure either. Aren't they all souls? That's true. They're all souls, so they might be able to complement each other. Sima Yu said, since that's the case, let's go look for those souls. Let's first complete the objective of entering this place before thinking about the loss of the Netherworld artifact. But we don't know which direction to go now. Little Dream said. It's okay, I know. Sima Yue took out a few scarlet bees and instructed, you guys should be more sensitive to smell, right? Sniff out that person's scent for me, and then take us there. Those scarlet bees circled around in the air and then flew in the direction that the man had left. Yu, can the bees find those people? Little Dream asked. I don't know. Let's try, Sima Yue said with uncertainty. He had always used the scarlet bees to track others, but he had never used them to track someone before. Whether this method would work or not, he would only know after trying it out. Practice proved that this method was not feasible, because they had not gone far before the aura was cut off, and they could not find his position at all. As for the scarlet bees, because they had smelled too much death energy, they had lost their spirit. Thank you for your hard work. Go back and rest. Sima Yue kept the scarlet bees. Yu, what do we do now? Little Dream asked. I don't know. Let's just walk around and take a look. Sima Yue said. They flew towards the center of bright red mountain peak. Along the way, they saw many human and animal corpses. They had all died tragically, and some of them were only left with broken bones. Those people from the ghost realm are so cruel. Little Dream's memories were sealed, and she was now as pure as a piece of white paper. Although she was with Sima Yue, she had not experienced many tragic situations. Now that she saw such a tragic scene, her little face scrunched up. The people from the other world are more cruel. Sima Yue said, the people from the devil realm and ghost realm are naturally bloodthirsty, and their fighting power is stronger than humans. That's why humans are so against them coming over. The heavens protect the weak, so it's much harder for the people from the devil realm and ghost realm to come to the human world. I don't know why these people from the ghost realm suddenly came to the primordial lands. Could it be that they were brought here by someone? Little Dream asked. We'll know when the time comes. Sima Yue said, we'll only know the truth when we find those people from the ghost realm. Roar. When the two of them were passing through a forest, a sharp flute sound rang out. Following that, all the spirit beasts in the mountain roared, and all the beasts went crazy. No matter if they were running on the ground or flying in the air, they all attacked them. Yu, let me do it. Little Dream stood up and flipped her hands in the air. Sima Yue saw a clear wave spread out from her body. Those wild spirit beasts were stunned after being hit by the clear wave, and many birds fell from the sky because they forgot to flap their wings. The other party did not expect Little Dream to control these spirit beasts so easily. That sharp flute sound rang out again, and this time it was even more hurried. Those spirit beasts' eyes flashed with struggle, and they moved again, running towards Sima Yue. However, under Little Dream's influence, their movements became much slower. If a tiger doesn't show its might, you'll think that I'm a sick cat. Little Dream stomped her foot, and her hands formed a seal. Waves of clear waves spread out from her body. Those spirit beasts were controlled by both parties, and they were in great pain. Awa, Pern, some spirit beasts could not stand it, and after wailing, they chose to self-destruct to end the pain. Sima Yue widened her eyes. How could this be? These spirit beasts were so pitiful, they were in so much pain even before death. Peng, Peng, one after another, the spirit beasts could not stand the pain and chose to self-destruct, and the scene was tragic. Sima Yue could not bear to see it anymore, and began to close her eyes to concentrate, looking for the culprit hiding in the forest. Found it. Sima Yue opened her eyes, and turned her gaze to a corner of the forest. Then she condensed her lightning attribute spiritual energy, and a bolt of lightning attacked. That person was hit, and the instrument in his hand could no longer be played. Those spirit beasts all stopped. Little Dream, attack that person. Sima Yue roared. Little Dream received the order, and flew up from Chongming's body. While flying over, she attacked. Nightmare beast! The other party exclaimed, and flew out from the forest. He looked at Little Dream with shock and a trace of fear. You're quite knowledgeable. Little Dream sneered, and her smile was exactly the same as Sima Yue's. You guys actually did such inhumane things. Today I'll definitely teach you a lesson. Ah, a nightmare beast actually said such inhumane things. How could you have the nerve to do that? That person laughed. What do you mean? Little Dream frowned and looked at that person. What do I mean? Aren't you a nightmare beast? You don't even know what your own people did. When Sima Yue heard this, she frowned and shouted, Little Dream, kill him. Chapter 755. The following is provided for you, 755. 755. Please enjoy. Xiao Meng's memories were sealed, but she had seen it before. She did not know how much blood the Dream Talkers had caused, but from the first time Xiao Meng saw it, the Dream Talkers had really done some cruel things. But those things had nothing to do with Xiao Meng. Before the seal was lifted, she did not want Xiao Meng to know. Xiao Meng saw that Sima Yue's reaction was a little strong, but she did not think much of it and attacked that person fiercely with all her might. That person did not have the time to speak and also used all his strength to counterattack. Sima Yue watched Xiao Meng and that person fight and realized that although Xiao Meng's strength was not weak, the other party's strength was not as strong as hers, but the other party's combat experience was much stronger than hers. She could not take her down in a short time. Xiao Meng, retreat. Sima Yue gathered lightning attribute spiritual energy and shouted. Xiao Meng retreated the moment she received the order. At the same time, the lightning accurately struck that person's body. That person was injured by Xiao Meng and then struck by Sima Yue. Especially the latter, she was simply the nemesis of all nemeses. With this forceful strike, that person was directly struck to the ground. Sima Yue formed a green vine with would attribute spiritual energy and tied that person up. She flew over and looked at that person who had fallen to the ground, saying, The people of the Ghost Clan are no different from the people of the human realm. Their faces will be scorched black. Yue fainted. Xiao Meng landed beside her and said, It's good that he fainted. It's easier for me to do my thing if he fainted. Sima Yue waved her hand and said, Go and deal with those spirit beasts. Let them go back? Xiao Meng turned around and looked at those spirit beasts with dull eyes. Sima Yue looked at those spirit beasts and sighed, saying, These spirit beasts have already lost their minds. If we let them go, they will probably unconsciously hurt other people. Why don't we kill them all? It'll also give them a quick death. Xiao Meng looked at those spirit beasts and said, There are so many spirit beasts. It'll be a pity to kill them all. But we can't let them go out and hurt others. Sima Yue said, There are many people who are not strong. These spirit beasts have lost their minds and become even more violent. Who killed the most lives? We may have killed so many spirit beasts, but we may have protected even more people. I have a way to control them. Little Dream said, Once I control them and place them in the spirit pagoda, I won't have to kill them. And if we meet someone in the future, we can let them take the lead. Sima Yue looked at Little Dream and flicked her forehead, saying, "You want them to lead the way for you in the future. That's your ultimate goal, right?" Xiaoming didn't feel awkward about being exposed. She giggled and said, "But it's true that they can live. They are so pitiful. If we just kill them, they will be even more pitiful." "Do you really have a way to control them?" Sima Yue asked uncertainly. "Don't worry, I can do this." Xiaoming patted her chest and said, "You know these things?" Sima Yue looked at her in surprise. "Of course." Xiaoming said, "These spirit beasts have lost their minds because their divine sense has been invaded by the ghost qi. If they met an ordinary person, they wouldn't be able to do anything. But who asked them to meet my nightmare beast? When it comes to divine sense control, if we say we are second, no one would dare to say they are first." "You're really cocky." Sima Yue patted her head. "Since you have a way, then do it. When the time comes, keep them in the spirit pagoda. When you meet those people again, you won't have to do anything." Xiaoming laughed and went to control those spirit beasts. Sima Yue squatted beside the person who was tied up. She put one hand on her knee and the other hand on her chin, saying, "How should I deal with you? Should I kill you directly or keep you and torture you slowly? Just like how you tortured those people?" The person lying on the ground didn't move at all. "You're still pretending to be dead? Do you think you can escape by pretending to be dead?" Sima Yue said, "If you want to die, then pretend to be dead. I'll let you really die, how about that?" The person who was struck black like charcoal on the ground finally moved a little and opened his eyes. "Why aren't you pretending anymore?" Sima Yue smiled and asked. The person on the ground looked at Sima Yue's smile and felt a chill in his heart. It was as if she was the messenger who crawled out from hell. "What do you want?" the man asked. "That depends on what you do," Sima Yue said faintly. After Xiaoming finished controlling all the spirit beasts in the mountain range and returned, Sima Yue was torturing that person bit by bit. You, why are you still keeping him?" "I'm prying open his mouth." Sima Yue said, "You're done so quickly?" They're all under control. But if you want them to be completely obedient, you still need some time. You can handle this in the spirit pagoda," Xiaoming said. "Then let's go in first." Sima Yue flashed and led the mountain of spirit beasts and that person from the ghost clan into the spirit pagoda. That person looked at the sudden change in environment and was astonished. "Little rascal, don't be surprised. This is my space. In here, everything will listen to me." Sima Yue said, "Little spirit, look after him. Don't let him die." Little spirit appeared beside her and looked at the person on the ground with disgust. With a look of disgust, he said, "Such a disgusting thing, why did you bring it in?" "Of course it's useful." Sima Yue said, "I still want to pry some things about the ghost realm out of his mouth." "What things?" Little spirit asked. Recently you and Ling Long are stuck together like glue. You don't even care about the outside world." Xiaoming chewed on a spirit fruit and teased. "I didn't." Little spirit flatly denied. "Little spirit has been sleeping recently." Sima Yue defended him. "Are you feeling unwell?" "Probably because you have absorbed too much of the lightning energy. I have also absorbed some. Recently, I have been digesting this energy," Little spirit said. "Then how are you now? Are you feeling better?" Sima Yue asked worriedly. No problem. I have absorbed almost all of it." Little spirit nodded. "Then do you still have the energy to take care of this place?" Xiaoming did not believe him. Little spirit lifted his chin and asked, "Is it to take care of this person?" Sima Yue nodded. "What happened to you recently?" Little spirit asked. Sima Yue's thoughts moved and Little spirit knew what happened recently. "Good, this guy dares to let so many spirit beasts come to kill you." Little spirit angrily stepped forward and kicked that person. "I will let him have a good taste of this feeling of not being able to live and not being able to die. Actively cooperate with the special action to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Please report. Thank you everyone." Chapter 756. The following is provided for you, 756. Please enjoy. Sima Yue saw that little spirit was so excited and did not stop him. She just crossed her arms in front of her chest and said, "Remember, don't kill him. Don't worry, he won't die. With me here, he will understand that death is also an impossible luxury." Little spirit said confidently, "That's good. I've been a little tired recently, so I'm going to rest. I'll leave him to you. It's best if you can get some information out of him." Sima Yue said, "Okay, you go." Sima Yue looked at Little Dream and asked, "Do you want to rest with me?" Little Dream watched with interest as Little Spirit took care of that guy. When she heard Sima Yue's words, she didn't even lift her eyelids and said, You go ahead. I'll play with Little Spirit." Sima Yue looked at her shining eyes and shook her head and walked away. At the same time, the ghost wanted to self-destruct to end his pain but suddenly found that he could not move the death energy in his body. Want to self-destruct? Not to mention the door, there's no window. Little Spirit looked at him condescendingly and said, "Want to wait for me to leave before you die? Then I'll have to disappoint you. No matter where I am, everything here is under my control. How do you know what I'm thinking?" The ghost looked at Little Spirit in shock. Little Spirit smiled proudly. "You still don't know where this is? You don't know my identity? Where is this? This is the Spirit Pagoda and I'm the spirit here. You're in my body, so of course I know what you're thinking." Little Spirit said, "It can be said that in here, you can do whatever I want. So your resistance is useless. Obediently tell me what you wants to know. Maybe you can live a little longer." I'm going to die anyway." The ghost's head tilted and looked like he was ready to die. "Then we'll see. I hope that when the time comes, you can still say such words." Little Spirit did not boast and just looked at him coldly. Xiao Meng finished eating a spirit fruit and shouted to Little Spirit, "I'm done eating." With a thought from Little Spirit, a pile of spirit fruits appeared in front of Little Dream. She giggled and hugged all of them in her arms. She took one and continued to gnaw on it. She even moved over a stool to sit down and leisurely watched Little Spirit take care of that person. When Yaguang and the others heard that the Ghost Clan's people were captured, they all came to watch the show. When they found out that he actually sent so many spirit beasts to kill Yue, each and every one of them were incomparably furious. They all requested Little Spirit to properly teach him a lesson. This was the first time that Little Spirit was being looked forward to by so many people. He nodded his little head and said, "Don't worry, I will definitely make him regret being born into this world." After Sima Yue left, she went to the cultivation room. She had set up a spirit gathering array here, which made the spiritual energy even denser, allowing her to regulate her breathing faster. A day later, he came out of the room full of energy. He closed his eyes and sensed for a moment. After understanding the location of Little Spirit and the others, he rushed over in a flash. You came." Little Roar threw himself into Sima Yue's arms and looked at her as he said, When you go out, bring me along. I'm better at dealing with those dirty things." I want to go out too." Ling Long laid on Little Spirit's head and said lazily. "Don't be anxious." Sima Yue stroked Little Roar's fur and said, "No matter where I go, I will be attacked. I think that they are definitely secretly observing my situation. If you all go out and the other party knows about you, wouldn't they be able to guard against me? But it's very dangerous for you to go out alone." Little Roar said. "With Little Meng around, there won't be too much danger." Sima Yue said, "When there is danger, I will call you out. Wouldn't that be more effective to catch them off guard?" "That's true." Ling Long nodded, "But if you meet those blind spirit beasts again, take me out and chop them up. This is much more convenient than slowly controlling them." "What do you know? With those spirit beasts, Yu will have a suicide squad if she wants to fight in the future." Little Meng retorted. Sima Yue could not help but laugh at Little Meng's nickname. She had mentioned the suicide squad before, but she did not expect Little Meng to remember it. It was just that when these words came out from her little mouth, it made her feel as if she had traveled through time. "All right, let's talk about these things later." She persuaded the two of them, then asked Little Spirit, "Did you get anything out of him?" "With me going out, of course there won't be any problems." Little Spirit said, "He said some basic information, but he might not have gotten everything. If you still have any questions, we can ask him now." "Send me the information," Sima Yue said. Little Spirit nodded. With a thought, Sima Yue received the information she wanted. With so few people, they actually killed everyone in the bright red mountain peak? She sorted out the information, and the more she read, the more shocked she became. Although there are very few people, their strength is not weak. However, I don't know what kind of identity the owner has to actually have so many capable people. Little Meng said. What I'm more curious about is how he came to the human realm. Sima Yue said, it's hard for people from the ghost realm to come over, but he actually brought a few people over. He's not even afraid of being destroyed after coming. It's a pity that this person's rank is not high. He's only an executor, so he doesn't know the inside story. Little Meng said. It's okay, we've already gotten a lot of information. Sima Yue said, at least we don't have to look around like headless flies. But we still don't know how strong those people are. If we just go like this, wouldn't it be too dangerous? Thousand Resonance said. Then we'll go and catch someone who knows the inside story. Sima Yue said, we'll get closer to the center bit by bit. We'll definitely meet someone who'll stop us. The higher the rank of the person, the more they know. When the time comes, they'll just catch them one by one and interrogate them. We just don't know if Mo Sha can absorb those souls. Will there be any effect if he does? Sima Yue sighed and said, let's go. The earlier we solve the problem, the earlier we'll know the result. She didn't bring Little Meng out this time. She left her in the spirit pagoda to continue controlling those spirit beasts. She wanted to use her in the next attack. She stayed in the spirit pagoda for a day, but only 2 hours had passed outside. She called out Chongming and flew towards the direction that person said. A few more days passed, and in these few days she encountered a few more assassinations. There were 2 times when she controlled the spirit beast to attack, but Yue didn't do anything. She let Little Meng control the spirit beasts to attack. And she still targeted the person controlling the spirit beasts. With a lightning strike, she successfully captured another prisoner. Unfortunately, this person was the same as the previous one. He was also the lowest ranked person and didn't know more information. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the fight against obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you everyone. Chapter 757. The following is provided for you, 757. Please enjoy. Sima Yue flew for a few more days before she saw a bigger city. I wonder if the teleportation formation here can be used. She flew above the city. The entire city was silent, without a single sound, as if it was a dead city. Chongming, let's go down. Sima Yue patted Chongming's back. Chongming brought her down to the streets. There's still the smell of blood here. Chongming said, but it seems like it's been a long time. The smell is not as strong. Maybe it's because the disaster happened a long time ago. Sima Yue said, let's go see if there's a teleportation formation in the city. Ever since the strange incident at Bright Red Mountain Peak spread, the surrounding cities had closed all the teleportation formations that led here. She had to find the teleportation formation herself after coming here. Those teleportation formations, I don't think they can be used anymore. Little Dream said, it doesn't matter if they're rotten, as long as the spatial coordinates are still there. Sima Yue said, as long as she had the spatial coordinates, she could set up her own teleportation formation. Thinking of this, she felt that her decision to learn about formations back then was the right one. In this vast continent, if she didn't know how to use a teleportation formation, then she would have to spend half of her life traveling. There's movement on the other side of the city. Chongming said, let's go and take a look. The 3 of them hurriedly flew over. When they arrived, they saw a group of people facing off against a group of spirit beasts at the city gate. Go to the city, someone shouted. What's the use of going to the city? A bearded man roared, the city here is empty, the defense formation is gone too. Even if we go in, these fellows will follow us in. Then what do we do? Could it be that only death awaits us? A woman said with a sobbing tone. Senior sister, don't be afraid. If we retreat to the city, we can take a breather. Another youth in white said. Roar. A spirit beast roared from behind. The spirit beasts in front attacked even more fiercely. Two of them jumped to the city gate and blocked the people's path of retreat. The spirit beasts have blocked our escape route. A baby-faced woman stabbed her sword into the heart of the spirit beast in front of her. She looked up and saw the spirit beasts blocking the door. She took out another sword and attacked one of them. Her speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, she appeared in front of the spirit beast and stabbed towards its glabella. Although the spirit beast had lost its mind, its movements were still very agile. When the baby-faced girl stabbed at it, it tilted its head and at the same time, its huge paw slapped towards her. The woman's sword stabbed into the thick leather armor of the spirit beast, but it was completely useless. However, she also used the momentum to quickly retreat, dodging the fatal slap. Should we help them? Little Dream asked from afar. Sima Yue recalled that Xiao Yi had mentioned that some people had entered the bright red mountain peak a while ago. It must be these people. We're all here to solve this problem. Since we've met, we should help. Sima Yue said. All right. Little Dream nodded and flew to the top of the city wall. She looked at the people fighting outside and tried to control them. Roar. The spirit beast behind felt Little Dream's attack and roared, counterattacking. Compete with me in spiritual attacks. Little Dream shouted, her hands forming seals even more frequently. She didn't know how that spirit beast was controlled. Although Little Dream's attack made it feel a little uncomfortable, it didn't take it down. As for the other spirit beasts, without its control, their fierce gazes became lax and their attacks were not as strong. Seize the opportunity. The full-bearded man shouted, reminding his companions who were stunned by this turn of events. The woman who spoke before wasn't focused and her head almost exploded from the spirit beast's claw. The full-bearded man pulled her to the side, but his arm was scratched by the spirit beast. Blood instantly dyed his clothes red. Don't be in a daze. He shouted at the woman and attacked the spirit beasts. Sima Yue looked at the people below who were still at a disadvantage and shook her head slightly, saying, Chongming, you go too. Chongming flew over and stood in the air. His normal pupils turned into two pupils as he stared straight at the spirit beasts below. Explode! He shouted in a low voice. The spirit beast that the full-bearded man was struggling to deal with suddenly exploded. The full-bearded man reacted quickly and quickly dodged, but he was still splashed with a lot of flesh and blood. However, he didn't care and turned to deal with the other spirit beasts. However, he didn't hit much before the spirit beast exploded again. The white-clothed youth who was close to the spirit beast didn't dodge and had his flesh and blood explode. It was very disgusting. The youth was stunned when the flesh and blood sprayed towards him. He blankly reached out to touch the flesh and blood on his face. He was extremely disgusted. When fighting with spirit beasts, he would try his best not to be stained with blood. Now that he was sprayed with flesh and blood all over his body, he couldn't help but want to vomit. Just as he was in a daze, another spirit beast next to him exploded. This time, fresh blood directly fell from his head, and his clothes were all bloody. Endure. Continue to endure. In the end, he couldn't take it anymore and ran to the side to vomit. Sima Yue landed on the city wall. Seeing Chongming deal with those spirit beasts so simply and crudely, she couldn't help but twitch the corner of her mouth. That fellow who was vomiting to the sky and earth must have mysophobia, right? Very quickly, Xiaoming took care of the spirit beast's head. Those people also took care of the other spirit beasts with Chongming's help. Xiaoming returned to Sima Yue's side. She looked at the people below and said, "Those spirit beasts died just like that. It's too wasteful." Chongming came down and heard her words. He smiled and said, "You have so many. It doesn't matter if you don't want these few. It's better to have more." Xiaoming said, "Then I'll leave them for you next time." Xiaoming only smiled when Chongming said this. Those people originally thought that they would definitely die this time. They didn't expect to be saved. This one is Blue Blade. We are disciples of the heroic sword sect. Thank you for saving our lives. A blue-clothed man cupped his hands towards Sima Yue and thanked her. Heroic sword sect? That first-rate sect that focused on cultivating the body and the sword? Sima Yue felt that it was too bloody and didn't want to go down. She said, I was just passing by and gave you a hand. Everyone has just experienced a huge battle. Why don't you return to the city to wash up and rest? Those people also had the same idea. After bowing to her, they flew over the city wall. May I know our benefactor's name? Blue Blade landed beside Sima Yue and asked politely. Sima Yue. Sima Yue said, Young Master Sima, do you know where there is water here? The baby-faced girl asked. Sima Yue shook her head and said, We just arrived here. We heard some commotion and came over to take a look. We haven't entered anyone's house yet. Since there are people here, they should have water. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the special action to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you, everyone. Chapter 758. The following is provided for you, 758. Please enjoy. Their group returned to the city. Blue Blade and the rest left to look for a water source. Sima Yue, Little Dream and Chongming strolled around the city, looking at the situation. Since they had met these people, they were not in a hurry to leave. They had arrived here before her, so they might know something about the situation. This city isn't small, but there are no survivors. Those ghost clansmen can't be that powerful. Little Dream said. You think it's strange too? Sima Yue asked. According to the information provided by the two people we captured, their strength isn't particularly strong. It's too impossible for them to destroy a city together. Little Dream said what she was thinking. Yeah. Sima Yue said, I think so too. Could there be other reasons that we don't know? Little Dream said. Chongming, what do you think? Sima Yue looked at Chongming. I think that maybe they aren't the same people. Chongming said. Not the same people? That's my guess too. Chongming said. The people we met before, maybe they aren't together. Sima Yue followed Chongming's thoughts. Suddenly, she clapped her hands and said, Maybe it's true. We met a group of people who used spirit beasts as their main attacking force, and another group who used evil spirits as their attacking force. The people who controlled the spirit beasts were obviously weaker, while the evil spirits were much stronger. Because they took turns to attack us, we subconsciously thought that they were together. Perhaps they are from two different forces. If they aren't together, then there are two groups of people? Little Dream said, That's strange. Usually, people rarely come here, but there are two groups. Moreover, they are only active in Red Mountain Peak and not anywhere else. That's because the people who used evil spirits to attack cannot leave this area for some reason. They can only move around Red Mountain Peak. The other group is here to kill them. Blue Blade walked out of the house and explained. Sima Yue and the rest then noticed that they had walked to the place where Blue Blade and the rest were washing up. How did you know? Sima Yue nodded at him and asked. My heroic sword sect sent hundreds of people this time, but only a few of us are left. If we can't even find out this little bit of information, then wouldn't our disciples have died for nothing? Blue Blade said sadly. I'm sorry, I didn't know. Brother Sima, there's no need to apologize. It's not your fault. Blue Blade said, Before we came in, we didn't think that this trip would be so dangerous. I'm afraid it will be difficult for me to report back to the sect. Young Master Lan, you're able to become the blue sword of your sect at such a young age. I'm afraid the sect won't blame you too much. Sima Yue comforted. You know us? Blue Blade asked in surprise. I do. Sima Yue said, The heroic sword sect is a large sect that integrates body refinement and cultivation. It is split into two factions. The left faction focuses on spirit cultivation and body refinement is secondary. The right faction focuses on body refinement and spirit cultivation is secondary. The right faction is further split into red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, purple, 7 different factions. The eldest disciples are named after their colors. The few of you should belong to the right faction. As for you, you're the eldest disciple of the blue faction, right? Young Master Sima seems to know quite well. Blue Blade said with a smile. I've heard a friend mention it. Sima Yue said. In the past, when she was drinking and chatting with Qin Nemo had mentioned that there was a sect in the central regions. They were very righteous and many of them were men worth befriending. They were much better than the sage pavilion that flaunted itself as holy and pure. I wonder which friend you are? Blue Blade asked. When he saw Sima Yu's flash of surprise, he felt that something was off and explained, this Blue Blade is just a little curious. That's because outsiders don't know much about the heroic sword sect. Someone who knows so much definitely has a special relationship with the heroic sword sect. If Brother Sima finds it inconvenient, you don't have to say it. I see. Sima Yue smiled and said, actually, it's nothing much. It was Qin Mo who told me. Young Master Qin? Blue Blade was stunned when he heard Qin Mo's name. I never thought that Brother Sima would be young Master Qin's friend. I've been disrespectful. He and I only met by chance and shared similar interests. That's why we're closer. Sima Yue casually explained. She did not say that she was close to Qin Mo, nor did she say that their relationship was bad. Senior brothers, what are you talking about? The baby-faced girl walked out from the door and bowed towards Sima Yue and Chongming, saying, thank you for saving my life today. I can't thank you enough. If you need anything from me, Zhou Lan, in the future, just let me know. Sima Yue had a good impression of this straightforward girl and smiled, there's no need to tell me anything. We were able to save you because of fate. Otherwise, how could we have met in such a big place like Bright Red Mountain Peak? No matter what, we will remember this. Zhou Lan's attitude was firm. She would remember Sima Yue's kindness today. All right, you said that you have some information about the Ghost Clan? Would it be convenient for you to tell me? Yue hasn't been here for long and hasn't met anyone she can talk to. She's still in the dark. Sima Yue said. The two people in the Spirit Pagoda were automatically ignored by her. Why not? Blue Blade said, actually, this information is something we came up with. If it's not accurate, I hope young master won't mind. You sacrificed so many disciples to obtain this information. Why would I mind if I got it for free? Sima Yue said. Senior brother, young Master Sima, this isn't a good place to talk. Why don't we talk inside? Zhou Lan suggested. Although there was no one in the city, it wasn't good to just stand outside the door. Thus, the group of people entered the seemingly new courtyard. Yue looked at the newly renovated house and sighed. This house has been rebuilt, but the people are gone. That's right. Zhou Lan said, if we hadn't personally come to Bright Red Mountain Peak, we wouldn't have dared to imagine that on this mainland, in such a short period of time, such an empty city could be formed. Thinking about the tragic scenes we saw in other places, it really makes one's hair stand on end. What's the situation like in other places? How many places have you been to? Sima Yue asked. They happened to walk into a courtyard and saw a pavilion. The few of them walked over and sat in the pavilion to talk. We've been here for 3 months, and what we've seen in the past 3 months is more tragic than what we've seen in the past. What's more, we've found that we can't get out after entering this place. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with this special action to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you, everyone. Chapter 759. The following is provided for you, 759. Please enjoy. Can't get out? What does that mean? Chongming frowned and asked in a low voice. It means that you can't get out. After reaching Bright Red Mountain Peak, if you want to leave, you will be pulled in by a force, making it impossible for you to take a step forward. Zhou Lan said, when we arrived here, we realized that the situation was strange. It's not that we didn't want to leave, but the teleportation formation can't be used. Even if we reached the border was right in front of us, but we couldn't reach it. This should be the doing of those from the ghost realm, right? Sima Yue said. It didn't happen before. Blue Blade said, didn't people come in and leave? Although their minds weren't complete, they still managed to leave. But now we can't get out at all. The teleportation formation can't be used either. If we want to catch those from the ghost realm, we don't know where to find them. Sima Yue said. Actually, that's not the case. This bright red mountain peak is smaller than other places. We can fly from the east to the west in about a month. Blue Blade said. Sima Yue blinked. Was bright red mountain peak that small? She hadn't been in Mushui City for long. She didn't expect to arrive here so soon, so she didn't pay attention to this. What do you think is going on with the two forces killing each other? When we were flying, we happened to see two groups killing each other. They were spirit beasts and evil spirits. We heard them talking from afar. They said that they were chasing and killing each other. That's how we knew that they weren't on the same side. Then the ones chasing you are bad? Little Meng asked. Blue Blade shook his head and said, people from the ghost realm, how can they be good or bad? In their eyes, the other races are all enemies. Otherwise, why would the entire bright red mountain peak be destroyed? That's true. Sima Yue thought about how the controlled spirit beasts and evil spirits had attacked her. In their eyes, as long as it was a human, they should be killed. However, there were some differences. The ones who controlled the evil spirits were more vicious and cruel. We've been chased by both sides a few times. Every time, there would be disciples sacrificed. It seems that if we want to leave this place, we have to take care of both sides. Sima Yue said. At the same time, she sighed in her heart. She originally wanted to find some souls for Mo Sha to nourish his body, but she didn't expect to be trapped here. Yu, I feel that this trick of not being able to go out must be done by those evil spirits. Little Dream said with certainty. But Zhou Lan saw that Xiao Meng was so sure and thought that they knew something. Because before we entered Red Mountain Peak, we met some ghosts in Mushui City. Sima Yu explained. Because their ghosts can pass through, it's useless to set up this barrier. Naturally, this is what those people brought to the other party's spirit beasts. How did you come here alone? He asked. This is too dangerous. Zhou Lan said. Knowing that it's the ghost clan's doing, and that it's starting to threaten the towns outside, how can we do nothing outside? Coincidentally, I have some ways to restrain the ghost clan, so I came over. When Sima Yue said this, she despised herself in her heart, not to mention the beasts in the spirit pagoda who were rolling their eyes. Young Master Sima is so righteous, it's rare to see you in this cold continent. Blue Blade patted Sima Yue's shoulder and said excitedly, if we can get out of here alive, this Blue Blade will definitely have a good drink with young Master Sima. Sima Yue's mouth twitched slightly. This guy, he was really so silly that he was cute. Could he not tell that she was just saying it casually? Those friends of yours, haven't they taken too long to take care of them? She felt that she couldn't be so shameless and quickly changed the topic. The beasts despised her once again. You also know that you're shameless. Sima Yue glared back in her heart. Actually, she also had some thoughts in mind, but it was just in passing. If they really let Mo Sha absorb those ghosts, then wouldn't the matter of bright red mountain peak be resolved? Although the starting point was different, the result would still be the same. There was no need to fuss over that small matter. Zhou Lan and the others didn't know about the thousands of twists and turns in her heart. They smiled and replied, the few of them are more or less misophobic. Previously, we were always on the run, so we didn't have the time to properly clean ourselves up. Now that we finally have the chance, I'm afraid the three of them won't be able to finish it in 2 to 3 hours. That's those two guys, not me. A clear voice came from the courtyard behind. Sima Yue recognized the voice of the bearded man. Big bearded man, even if you're faster than them, you're still slower than us. Did you go and wash those beards of yours? How many times have I told you, you have too much beard, it's best to shave it? Zhou Lan teased. I won't shave it. Only men with beards are handsome and mighty. Don't you think I'm more handsome when I have a beard? Big bearded man touched his beard and said narcissistically. Sima Yue saw that big bearded man had delicate features, a high nose bridge, fair skin, and a slender body. If he didn't have that large beard, he would still be a handsome man. Big bearded man saw Sima Yue sizing him up and immediately asked, don't you think I'm more handsome when I have a beard? I've never seen you without a beard, so I can't compare. Sima Yue looked at those eager eyes and said honestly, I think you're more handsome without a beard. More handsome without a beard. Big bearded man said, you don't know how to appreciate it, this is called male beauty. With a beard, I look more manly. Someone like you who doesn't have a single strand of beard looks very feminine, not as handsome as me. Sima Yue felt 3 black lines slide down the back of her head. Why did this guy drag her into this? And his sense of beauty was really different from normal people. Seeing Sima Yue like this, Blue Blade explained, Qi Wei's appreciation of beauty and handsomeness is different from normal people, so, cough cough, don't mind. I won't mind. Sima Yue smiled. What were you guys talking about just now? Qi Wei asked curiously. We were talking about the current situation. Zhou Lan said, we're trapped here alone without help, and there are people from the ghost realm chasing after us. There's no use hiding here, we have to think of a way. That's right. A sharp scream came from the courtyard behind them. Zhou Lan and the others immediately stood up and said, it's Yu Qing's voice, go and see what's happening. Zhou Lan and the others quickly ran over. Sima Yue, Little Meng and Chong Ming were not in a hurry and slowly followed behind. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the fight against obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Please report it. Thank you everyone. Chapter 760. The following is provided for you, 760. Please enjoy. Everyone ran to the small courtyard at the back. Zhou Lan immediately rushed into the house while Blue Blade and Qi Wei stayed outside and did not enter. Yu Qing, what happened? Blue Blade asked from outside. The white-clothed youth from before had rushed out of the house and hadn't even buttoned his jacket properly. The moment he came out, he anxiously asked, what's wrong, what happened? It's nothing. Zhou Lan's voice came from inside, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. It's really nothing? Qi Wei said worriedly. You guys wait outside for a bit. Zhou Lan said. Then we'll wait. Blue Blade said to Qi Wei and Sima Yue. Seeing that the person wasn't dressed properly, he said, Ming Lang, why aren't you putting on your clothes properly? Xian Ming Lang pouted and quickly put on his clothes. At this time, Zhou Lan's voice came from inside, saying, come in. Everyone went in and saw a large bathtub in the house. Yu Qing and Zhou Lan were standing to the side. What happened just now? Blue Blade asked. Actually, it's nothing. Yu Qing's face was red as she said, I just saw a rat and got a fright. Tiftesh, Qi Wei immediately laughed, saying, a rat? Yu Qing, it's not that I want to criticize you, but you're still a spirit master. How could you be afraid of a small creature like a rat? Yu Qing's face turned even redder as if she could resist water, saying, that. All right, Qi Wei, stop laughing. Yu Qing has been afraid of rats since she was young. It's not like you don't know. Blue Blade saw Yu Qing's expression and spoke in a low voice. It was to give Yu Qing a way out. Yu Qing didn't say anything else because it wasn't easy to say it. She couldn't say that she was almost attacked by a spirit beast in front of a group of men, right? This place is completely empty. It's a bit scary for a rat to suddenly appear. Moreover, this rat isn't just a little big. It's much bigger than a normal spirit rabbit. Zhou Lan said. That's right. It's so scary. If you suddenly saw it, you would definitely be scared. Yu Qing said. I'm not you. Qi Wei crossed his arms and snorted. If it was Qi Wei, he would definitely subdue it and let it show off in front of us. Zhou Lan said. Senior Sister Zhou, you don't need to know me so well. Qi Wei said with a grin. Well, Sima Yue interrupted their happy conversation and said, I have a question. Young Master Sima, please speak. Blue Blade said. That, Sima Yu pointed at the rat that was beaten to the ground and asked, there are no spirit beasts in the entire city, nor are there any humans. Where did such a big little rat come from? That's right. Blue Blade frowned. There were no living creatures when we entered the city. Where did this rat come from? Zhou Lan and the others were also silent. For a spirit mouse to suddenly appear in an empty city, it was strange no matter how they thought about it. Chongming. Sima Yue called out. Chongming came out from behind her and walked around the room. Then he closed his eyes and sensed. What is he doing? Qi Wei looked at Chongming curiously. Don't speak. Blue Blade glanced at him and he immediately swallowed the rest of his words. Chongming sensed for a while and came in front of a wall. After feeling around for a while, he found a brick and pressed it down. Then, the wall beside him shrank to the side and opened up a path. Seeing this, everyone understood what was below them. They never thought that there would be a basement. Let's go down and take a look. Sima Yue said. All right. The stairs were not high. It was only 20 or so steps. Below them was a tunnel. There were several oil lamps on both sides of the tunnel. Sima Yue moved her finger and a cluster of flames flew out, passing over every oil lamp. The lamps were all lit up and the entire tunnel lit up. Everyone walked in for a while. Qi Wei, who was walking in front, said, There's a barrier in front. We can't go in. Let me take a look. Zhou Lan was behind Qi Wei. She pulled him aside and walked to the front. She stretched out her hand and was blocked by an invisible barrier. Why would there be a barrier here? Yu Qing asked curiously. Naturally, it was left behind by Master. Blue Blade said, If there wasn't this, how could we not have discovered this secret underground room? Sima Yue walked to the front and touched the barrier, saying, This is indeed a barrier that can isolate auras. However, this barrier requires a large amount of energy. It can't be maintained for long. You know quite a bit about barriers. We didn't even know that there were different types of barriers. Zhou Lan said. That's right. You're amazing. Yu Qing looked at Yue with admiration. It's all right. Sima Yue smiled. This was all taught to her by Little Roar in the Spirit Pagoda. She did not know this herself. Eldest senior brother, can you break this? Qi Wei asked. Let me try. Blue Blade took out his sword. It's useless. Sima Yue said. But Yu Qing asked. Because this barrier will absorb all the attacks from the outside. Otherwise, how could the people outside not discover this place? Sima Yue said. Then what do we do? When we encounter this, we can only wait for the energy to be depleted or wait for the people inside to come out. Sima Yue said. Is there no other way? Zhou Lan looked at the corner of the tunnel with slight disappointment. There is, but I don't think you guys have the conditions. Sima Yue said. What other way is there? It's fine as long as you're naturally immune to barriers. Sima Yue said. How is that possible? Xianming Lang pouted. Why is it not possible? Sima Yue said, You guys wait here. I'll go in and take a look. Sima Yue said as she kept Chongming and Little Dream. She called out Little Roar and fused with him before stepping into the barrier. She really went in? Xianming Lang stared at Sima Yue with his eyes wide open as he watched her turn into the back. I tried just now, but I couldn't enter this barrier. I didn't expect her to really go in. Qi Wei said. She said that she can enter as long as she's naturally immune to barriers. Could she be that kind of person? She's not, but her spirit beast should be. Blue Blade said. But spirit beasts can, but she can't go in. Yu Qing said. Do you guys still remember that 100 years ago, Red Blade's master fought with someone outside the sect? Blue Blade asked. Of course we remember. Because one of Red Blade's disciples violated the sect's rules and did something bad, Red Blade's master was kept in the dark. He protected her and fought with that person on Mount Everest. In the end, he heavily injured Red Blade's master. In the end, the two of them became good friends. Qi Wei said. At that time, that person's strength was not as good as Red Blade's master, but he defeated him. He used a skill that we don't know, fusion. Blue Blade said, and that person is called Sima Lu Yun. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the special campaign to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you everyone. Chapter 761. The following is provided for you, 761. Please enjoy. What battle, Why haven't I heard of it before? Xian Minglang asked. At that time, you hadn't come to the sect yet. After you came, you didn't pay attention to the outside world. It's normal that you don't know. Blue Blade said. Minglang, you didn't see the scene of the battle. It was a complete upheaval. Qi Wei hugged Xian Minglang's neck. He was very excited when he talked about the battle. You saw it? Xian Minglang asked. Of course. Qi Wei used his other hand to stroke his beard, saying, At that time, I hadn't become a core disciple. The place where I cultivated was near Mount Everest. I saw that battle with my own eyes. Even my house was blown away. Such a huge battle, why haven't I heard you mention it before? Xian Minglang said. That's because the sect didn't allow us to talk about it. Qi Wei said, I don't know what that Red Blade disciple did to cause such a huge commotion. But after that, Master ordered us not to talk about it, so we didn't talk about it much. After so many years, if Eldest Senior didn't mention it, we would have forgotten about it. Was that battle really that earth-shattering? That's right. Especially the technique that person used in the end. His battle power instantly doubled. Red Blade Master was about to win, but he turned the tables. Zhou said. He's called Sima Lu Yun, and she's called Sima Yue. Could she be from that clan? Yu Qing was shocked by her own guess. She reached out her hand to cover her mouth. I think that should be right. Blue Blade said. Actually, you don't know, but I know why Master didn't let us talk about it. It's that clan's request. They said that they can't let this matter spread. The sect was pressured and had no choice but to keep all the disciples quiet. That clan is that powerful? They're more powerful than us. Blue Blade didn't answer his question directly, saying, I didn't expect that we would meet someone from that clan here. The skilled are bold. I was wondering why she would come here alone. Now that I think about it, there's nothing strange about it. Zhou said. As a result, Yu was designated as a member of that clan just like that? At this moment, the barrier in front of them disappeared. Sima Yue's voice could be heard from inside. Come in. Blue Blade and the others thought that she had closed the enchantment from the inside, but they didn't expect to see more than 10 people squeezed into a small basement. Most of them were children and young women. Young Master Sima, what is going on? Sima Yue shrugged and said, They are the owners of this place. I haven't asked about the details. She then asked the oldest woman, What's your name? Qiu. That woman said, This is my younger sister, Qiu Rui. The others are our younger siblings. Qiu and Qiu Rui looked the same. They were twin sisters. What's the situation outside? Qiu wrist. An empty city. Sima Yue replied. What? Qiu Rua and Qiu Rui cried. Then our family, there's no one alive in the city, but there aren't many corpses either. Blue Blade said, When did you arrive here? It's been half a year. Qiu Rua was calmer. At that time, Father and the others knew that they couldn't leave Bright Red Mountain Peak, so they prepared this place. Not long after, we were sent here to hide. Since then, no news of the situation outside has reached here. Then you haven't seen the situation outside? Sima Yue asked. Qiu Rua and Qiu Rui nodded, their eyes filled with tears. Outside, what's the situation like in the other cities? Qiu Rua asked. It's about the same as here. But it looks more tragic. Blue Blade said, There aren't many corpses here. In the other cities, there are mountains of corpses. Qiu Rua and Qiu Rui hugged each other, suppressing the sadness in their hearts. The others also hugged each other and cried. The situation outside was so tragic and their family couldn't leave. The result was self-evident. Those rats are yours? Sima Yue waited for them to cry for a while before asking. Qiu Rua wiped her tears and said, Those spirit rats were raised by us to play with. We didn't dare to go out casually, so we sent them out to scout the situation. The last few times, there was no news of them. This time, the one that went out is already dead. Speaking of the dead spirit rat, everyone's face flashed with embarrassment. Zhou Lan stepped forward and bowed, saying, Your spirit rat was accidentally killed by us. We're sorry. We guessed it. Qiu Rua said, I think it's because you found the spirit rat that you thought that there were still living people here. That's why you came here. Something like that? Sima Yue said. What happened to Bright Red Mountain Peak? How could something like this happen? Qiu Rui said hatefully, Father and the others are gone. The entire city is gone. The entire Bright Red Mountain Peak is dead. 2 years ago, everything was fine. How could it become like this now? 2 years? Since you found out that something was wrong 2 years ago, didn't you think of leaving earlier or asking for help? Blue Blade asked. These people were the first group of living people they met in Bright Red Mountain Peak. They had too many questions to ask. How could it be gone? Qiu Rua said, in the beginning, the situation wasn't that serious. It was just that some idiots would appear in some places and some spirit beasts would die. However, it wasn't a large area. Everyone didn't want to leave the clan. After all, their roots were here and their ancestors had lived here for generations. They just wanted to find the problem and solve it. However, we didn't expect the situation to spread so quickly. In the end, when we wanted to leave, we couldn't. The clan wanted to send out a message to ask for help. However, it was as if this place was isolated from the world. The message couldn't be sent out and people couldn't leave. We could only be trapped here. At that time, everyone panicked. Many forces formed to investigate, but no one came back. Later, we were sent here. Chiu said. Sima Yue could imagine the determination of those people to protect their home. She could also imagine their despair when they were trapped here. Millions, tens of millions of people were trapped here and killed. There were also those spirit beasts. They were originally living well. However, because of those Ghost Clan people, they lost their minds and became walking corpses. Ghost Clan. Thinking of the tragic situation she saw along the way, she felt anger burning in her heart. It was the first time she felt so strong that she wanted to do something for those people. Blue Blade and the others' faces were also very ugly. They tried their best to control themselves so that they didn't rush out to seek revenge on those Ghost Clan people. Actively cooperate with the special campaign to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Readers, please report. Thank you everyone. Chapter 762. Sima Yue and the others were angry, the Qiu clan members were crying, the atmosphere in the secret room was heavy. Let's retaliate. Sima Yue broke the silence and said, Retaliate? There are so many people in Bright Red Mountain Peak and none of them succeeded. We only have a few people, what can we do? Yu Qing said with red eyes. Make a good plan, then you'll know what to do. Sima Yue said. We have to use different methods to deal with different people. When the time comes, we'll exterminate them all, so that the Ghost Clan won't dare to come to the human realm and cause trouble. Do you have a good plan? Blue Blade asked. He didn't know why, but when he saw her like that, he subconsciously believed her words. I need to think about it carefully. Sima Yue said, you guys should open the barrier. There are some spirit stones here, enough for you to stay here for more than a year. I'll go with you. Qiu Rua said, I want to take revenge for my father. But your father let you guys stay here, so that you can continue to live. The situation outside is still too dangerous. If something happens, Sima Yue said, it's okay, as long as the Qiu clan members survive, father's efforts will not be wasted. I'll go out. You stay here and take care of little brother and the others. Qiu Rua said. Sister, I'll go, you stay here with little brother and the others. Qiu Rui said. Don't fight with me, you stay. Qiu Rua said firmly. Big sister, second sister, we want to go too. A little fatty stood up. His figure was similar to Fatty Chu's in the past. Qiu Rua and Qiu Rui said in unison. I want to go. The little fatty stomped his feet, the flesh on his body trembling. I want to go too. The children in the corner all came over, surrounding Qiu Rua and Qiu Ru. Don't make a fuss, it's too dangerous outside, just wait for us here. Qiu Rua said. Big sister, listen to me. Do you want to see our Qiu clan end? Qiu Rua shouted. When she said that, the children lowered their heads and stopped talking. Big sister, they all listen to you. It's better if you stay. Chiu Rui said. Sima Yue was thinking about something and had a headache from their quarrel. She said, all right, stop arguing. If you want to go, then go. If these children stayed here, no one would be able to harm them. As long as they have enough food, they won't starve to death. A few of them looked like they were only a few years old. They probably still needed to eat, so he had to leave some food for them. We prepared food for several years when we came in. Chiu Rua took out a spatial ring and placed it on little Fatty's hand, saying, be good and stay here. When we succeed, we'll come back to pick you guys up, understand? If we haven't come back by the time we finish eating, send someone out to look for food. You can't go out alone, understand? Little Fatty gripped the ring so tightly that the patterns on it dug into his flesh. Tears welled up in his eyes. Big sister, second sister, we understand. Little Fatty said, we'll be good and stay here. Let's go out first. Sima Yue said to Blue Blade and the others before turning to leave. This kind of scene made one's heart ache. It was better not to look at it. We'll go out first. We shouldn't be leaving today. Come back up after you're done talking. Blue Blade said to Chiu Rui and Chiu Rui. Zhou Lan and the others nodded at the two of them before turning to leave. When they went back up, Sima Yue saw the dead spirit mouse in the house and burned it with a flame. Brother Sima. Blue Blade came out from behind and called out to Sima Yue, saying, if there's anything you need us to do, just let us know. Sima Yue responded and turned to leave the house. She went outside alone and walked aimlessly on the streets. That 100-ghost banner. As long as we get it, we'll be halfway done here. Emo Sha's voice suddenly sounded. Sima Yue was delighted, saying, Emo Sha, you're awake? Yeah. Emo Sha responded faintly, still as cold as before, I see you frowning when I wake up. So useless. Actually, he had already been awake for many days. It was just that he had blocked their communications, so she didn't know. Sima Yue didn't mind him scolding her the moment he woke up. She asked with concern, how are you now? Not bad. Actually, not good at all. You said 100-ghost banner just now. Didn't you just wake up? How do you know about it? Sima Yue asked. You retrieved your memories. Emo Sha said. Do you know anything about this 100-ghost banner? Seeing Emo Sha wake up, she felt as if she had found support. Her previously restless heart calmed down immediately. I've seen it in an ancient book before. Emo Sha said. There's a book about the ghost realm in the devil realm? I've been to the ghost realm before. Don't interrupt. Oh, continue. Sima Yue smiled with a bit of flattery. This 100-ghost banner is the ghost realm's supreme weapon. With it, you're practically invincible in the ghost realm. It's a treasure that the ghost clan's people scramble for. Emo Sha said. What's the use of this 100-ghost banner? It can hold 100 ghosts. It can hold 100 ghosts? 100 ghosts is a general term. It can hold any kind of ghosts. Emo Sha said disdainfully, even if it's a ghost emperor, as long as he hasn't cultivated a physical body, he can be stored in it. The higher the level of the 100-ghost banner, the more spirits it can store. The 100-ghost banner that appeared in the ghost realm before could store at least 1 million evil spirits. Cultivated a physical body? What's that? And what's the level of the 100-ghost banner? Sima Yue felt that there were more questions the more she listened. She asked a few questions in a row. After a human dies, they will be sent to the ghost realm by the laws of nature. Those spirits can also cultivate in the ghost realm. When their level is high enough, they can cultivate a physical body. Then why didn't you go to the ghost realm to cultivate a physical body? Why did you have to split your spirit into two and make it so troublesome? Emo Sha was silent for a while before saying, if I went to the ghost realm, I reckon the entire ghost realm would be hunting me down. Sima Yue widened her eyes after hearing this, saying, the entire ghost realm would be hunting you down? You couldn't have killed their king, right? She had only said it casually, but she didn't expect Emo Sha to respond with an N. Yue was even more shocked, saying, how did you kill the ghost king? That's a ghost king. You actually killed the Ghost King. No wonder they're going all out to hunt you down. So what if it's a Ghost King? I'm also a Devil King. Do you need to make such a big fuss about killing a Ghost King? Mo Shah said faintly. His tone was arrogant. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the special campaign to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you, everyone. Chapter 763. The following is provided for you. Chapter 763. With him, my heart will be at ease. Please enjoy. What a pervert. She pursed her lips and said, Why did you kill the Ghost King? Could it be that they don't like each other because they are both kings? It won't be that boring. Then why? He said I stole his woman. Come and fight me to the death. Mo Shah said, You slept with the queen of the world of spirits and souls. Sima Yue shouted, using shock to cover up the slight discomfort in her heart. I'm not interested in women. Mo Shah said. But the Ghost King wouldn't accuse you of stealing his woman for no reason, right? Sima Yue didn't believe it. That woman came to me of her own accord. I ignored her too. Mo Shah said, but that old man in the ghost realm insisted that I stole his woman and ran over to fight with me. I didn't do anything, so how could I allow him to be so impudent? The two of them started fighting. That battle lasted for 3 days and 3 nights. In the end, both of them were about to die. He was severely injured when he left and was on his last breath. I was in a similar state. But I survived and he died. Cultivators can live as long as they have a single breath, right? He's dead? Sima Yue said, Are you stupid? That Ghost King was obviously killed by someone else. Why are you taking the blame? Mo Shah was amused by Sima Yue's tone. Inside the devil snare bracelet, his lips curled into a smile. Back then, when the Ghost King was killed, he said that it wasn't his doing, but no one said anything. He only gave a simple description, and she knew that he didn't kill anyone. This trust made him feel warm in his heart. Although I wasn't the one who killed him, it was because he lost his ability to defend himself after fighting with me. It's all in the past, there's no point in talking about it. Mo Shah said, Do you still want to hear about the 100 Ghosts banner? Oh, go ahead. Sima Yue also felt that it was meaningless to talk about whether he had killed the Ghost King or not. After all, it had been so many years and the people who wanted to kill him back then had already gone through countless reincarnations. The matter of the 100 Ghost banner was more important. Are there many 100 Ghost streamers? No, only one. But you just said that the one that appeared before could contain at least 1 million evil spirits. This means that there are others. Sima Yue said. That's also one, just like how your spirit pagoda has had many masters before. Mo Shah said. Wasn't he invincible with the 100 Ghost banner? Why did it change hands so many times? Sima Yue asked. There are times when a dragon takes a nap. Who can say for sure what happens between them? Mo Shah said rather ruefully. It would be great if I could get my hands on this 100 Ghost banner. Sima Yue rubbed his palms together. His interest was completely piqued by the 100 Ghost banner. If anyone came to find trouble with her in the future, she would release this 1 million evil spirits and eat them up. I don't know why the owner of the 100 Ghost banner came to the human realm, but this is really a good opportunity for us. It's a good opportunity for you to be a bandit. Mo Shah said, but you have to be alive to take it. That's already my weapon. How could I not be alive to take it? Sima Yue said heroically. It was a pity that her words completely exposed her bandit nature. Not only do you have to deal with the 100 Ghost banner, you also have to deal with the people on the other side. Mo Shah said, those people should know that the other party has the 100 Ghost banner, so they chased you to the human realm. No matter which side you are on, they won't tolerate you. Even if it wasn't for the 100 Ghost banner, I wouldn't let these people off. What they did in Bright Red Mountain Peak is enough for every human to go on a crusade against them. Sima Yue said hatefully. Since when did you have such a sense of justice? Isn't your goal to find souls for me to absorb? Mo Shah rolled his eyes at her. Sima Yue's anger was dispelled by his words. She felt that this guy was too good at pouring cold water on other people's enthusiasm. I've always been very righteous. She snorted. Can you absorb those evil spirits? Those evil spirits are just normal spirits. They don't have much vitality. I don't need them. Emosha rejected. You really don't want them? All right, then I won't be merciful when the time comes. Up to you. Emosha didn't care about that little bit of vitality. A few 100,000 of it couldn't even compare to a bottle of soul fluid. Also, the souls of the people in Bright Red Mountain Peak were most likely absorbed by the 100 Ghost Banner. Once they become evil spirits, they won't be able to keep their minds. Even if they reach the ghost realm, those people won't be able to survive. I understand. Sima Yue replied with a heavy heart. Emosha wanted her to be merciful when the time came. Also, those spirit beasts, leave the high-leveled ones. Leave the low-leveled ones, they're useless anyway. Emosha added. Let's see what little Meng thinks. I think she likes the feeling of being the boss. Sima Yue said. What do you think about the counterattack? Heaven's calamity, crimson flames. With these two things, no amount of evil spirits will be of any use. Emosha said. Then what about those spirit beasts? Little Meng's potential is beyond your imagination. All right. I'll think about how to deal with this. When you steal the 100 Ghost Banner, it's best not to let those people be there. Emosha reminded. I understand. Sima Yue said, are you really okay? Just get me more soul fluid. Emosha said. Emosha didn't say anything else after that. The two of them fell into silence. After a while, Sima Yue said embarrassedly, thank you for last time. If you do something so dangerous again, I won't be able to help you. I won't. Sima Yue hurriedly promised. I don't trust you. Emosha said, I'm going to rest. After he finished speaking, he cut off the connection between the two of them. Sima Yue could feel that he was a little tired, so she just pursed her lips and didn't say anything when he cut off the connection so decisively. Actually, she wanted to ask if he had any thoughts after hearing what she said that day. But if she really asked, the two of them would be a little awkward. Forget it, since he didn't mention it, she would pretend that she didn't say anything. Maybe he didn't even hear what happened in the chaotic world. When Emosha woke up, her mood improved a lot. She planned to return home to discuss the counterattack with Blue Blade and the others. Roar dash, chirp dash, the earth-shattering roar of a beast broke through the clouds. She was shocked and turned around to look outside the city. In the sky, hundreds of large birds flew over. She flew into the air and saw that there were also many land spirit beasts rushing towards here. In just a few breaths, those big birds were close to the city wall. Thank you, everyone. Chapter 764. Sima Yue's expression changed when she saw the dense group of spirit beasts. The beasts besieged him. Why did so many spirit beasts suddenly appear? And there were no signs or movements at all. What happened? Blue Blade and the others flew into the air. When they saw the sudden appearance of the spirit beasts, their faces turned pale. How can there be so many spirit beasts? Zhou Lan looked at the spirit beasts in shock, her voice trembling. Where did these spirit beasts come from? Damn it, there are so many powerful creatures. Any one of them could kill us. Qi Wei cursed. When Yu Qing and Xian Minglang saw the scene before them, they nearly fainted from fright. Where are the Qiu sisters? Sima Yue asked. He hasn't come out yet. Blue Blade said. Tell them not to come out. They should be fine hiding in the barrier. Sima Yue said. She took out a scarlet bee and told it to quickly inform the Qiu clan. Then she called out Chongming. Without needing her to say anything, everyone went up together. Chongming spread its wings and flew in the opposite direction. With his speed, he quickly left those spiritual beasts behind. In the secret chamber, Qiu Rua and Qiu Rui had already instructed their younger brother and sister and were about to come out. Suddenly, they heard a deafening beast roar. They didn't know what had happened and wanted to open the bounded domain to go out and take a look. However, they were stopped by the scarlet bees who rushed over. After flying for a while, Yu Qing and the others finally regained their senses. Their bodies were still trembling. "They'll be fine, right?" Yu Qing's voice was faintly discernible due to the shock, as if the words didn't come from her mouth. "The scarlet bees have sent back news. They have already told the Chiu clan not to come out." With such a big commotion outside, even if the door of the secret chamber was closed, they could still feel it. "They won't come out at this time," Sima Yue said. "Those spirit beasts are so strong. Just by running towards us, I feel a chill in my heart and my legs go soft." This was the first time Qi Wei had been frightened by such a phenomenon. Even when he had been chased by spirit beasts and his life had been hanging by a thread, he had never felt this way. If Brother Sima didn't have Chongming's lightning-fast contracted beast flash, I'm afraid we would have already been buried in the beast's mouth. "Brother Sima Yue, you saved us again." Blue Blade looked at Sima Yue gratefully. "It's still too early to say that I saved you. Those guys are still chasing after us." Sima Yue said. "Still chasing?" Yu Qing shrank back in fright. She didn't see any spirit beasts? Maybe some of them have a good sense of smell and are following our scent. Sima Yue said, "And those flying beasts brought the land spirit beasts with them. Didn't these guys lose their minds? They even learned how to work together." "How do you know?" Xian Minglang looked at her doubtfully. She clearly didn't look back even once, so how did she know those spirit beasts were chasing after them? "I'll send a few bees down from time to time during the flight, and they'll send back information in turn. This means that those spirit beasts followed our flight path and chased after us." Sima Yue explained, "It was the bees that told me that the flying beasts brought the land spirit beasts with them. I used to think that contracting those bees was useless, but now I feel that it's useful." Qi Wei said enviously, "When we go back, I'll find a group of bees to contract too." "What's the use of contracting bees? If you want to contract, you should contract the queen bee. That's the only way for bees to keep coming out. Right, Brother Sima?" Xian Minglang looked at Sima Yue, his eyes full of envy and admiration. "With the queen bee, there will be an endless supply of bees. And you only need to contract one of them, it's convenient." Sima Yue said. "Then you've also contracted a queen bee?" Yu Qing asked curiously. "By chance, I managed to contract one." Sima Yu smiled. "Most people would feel that it takes up a lot of their mental energy and it's a waste, so many people aren't willing and would rather use their mental energy to contract other useful spirit beasts. Didn't you have such thoughts when you contracted the queen bee?" "Why should I? My bees are very useful and have helped me a lot. They're my right-hand men." Sima Yue said, "Look at the situation now, aren't they the ones who told me? Otherwise, how would we know that there are a lot of beasts chasing us? Waste?" Her scarlet bees didn't feel that it was a waste at all. Instead, she took advantage of the situation to contract it. "When we go back, I'll find a queen bee to contract too." Qi Wei was interested. If he could get out alive, he would definitely find a queen bee to contract with. "We need to think of a countermeasure." Zhou Lan said, "Those spirit beasts are under someone's control. Without orders, they will keep chasing us. If the flying beasts get tired and those spirit beasts catch up to us, we'll be finished." "That's right. We need to think of a countermeasure." Xian Minglang said, "We can't just sit here and wait for death. We can't get out and we can't shake them off. What should we do?" Sima Yue asked calmly. Xian Minglang and the rest fell silent. They had already used all their life-saving methods 3 months ago. Now that they were facing this, other than their own spirit energy and weapons, they were really out of tricks. "Even if we choose to self-destruct now, I'm afraid we won't be able to hurt them," Yu Qing said disappointedly. "Even if they manage to escape, they wouldn't be able to escape death? If it really comes to that, then we'll choose to self-destruct." Blue Blade said, "If we're killed by them, I'm afraid our souls won't be able to rest in peace. Self-destruct will cause our souls to explode. Are you willing to do that?" Sima Yue asked. "Even if we disappear from this world, it's still better than becoming a slave?" Blue Blade said. "Slave?" Sima Yue looked at Blue Blade in confusion. "I saw it before. Among our dead disciples, one of them became an evil spirit that attacked us. Blue Blade said, he has already lost his humanity. He has become an evil spirit that has no thoughts and no freedom. That's right. If it really comes to that, we'd rather choose to self-destruct. Yu Qing said firmly. However, her pale face showed that she was very afraid of that step. Brother Sima, if that's really the case, then you should be like us. Although we're dead, we don't have to live like that. It's worse than death. Qi Wei even ran over to advise Sima Yue. Xian Minglang also nodded in agreement. Yu laughed. These guys were really interesting. Seeing how cute they were, she would save them one more time. Don't worry. With me here, none of you will die. Although her confident look was very handsome, Blue Blade and the rest still didn't believe her. Because as far as they were concerned, it was utterly impossible. Sima Yue didn't say anything. She only smiled and got Chongming to find an empty canyon. Chapter 765. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Reads book, webquick update, no pop-up window, free to read. Chongming flew for half a day before Sima Yue found out the distance between the spirit beasts and signaled for him to stop at a valley in front. Chongming kept flying forward, and their luck was pretty good. After flying for a few hours, they came across a valley, and this valley happened to be a relatively wide valley. Sima Yue patted his shoulder, and he put everyone down on a cliff in the valley. Brother Sima, why are we stopping here? Qi Wei and the rest asked in confusion. Shouldn't they take advantage of the fact that they were still far away from the spirit beasts to run for a while? Why should they stop and wait for the spirit beasts to catch up? Running isn't a solution. We have to solve this problem from the root. Sima Yue got down from Chongming, and although the rest were confused, they still followed. If we want to solve this problem from the root, we have to kill all the spirit beasts. Zhou Lan said, her baby face was filled with a ruthlessness that didn't match her looks. That's right. If we don't get rid of those spirit beasts, they will catch up no matter how long we run. Sima Yue said as she sized up the terrain, actually, the most important thing is to kill the person controlling them, but I'm afraid we can't do that this time. Then what should we do? Yu Qing asked. The right time, the right place, and the right people, these we don't have. When Sima Yue said the first few words, everyone's face was filled with shock. They didn't expect her to change the topic so suddenly, and they almost didn't know how to react. Qi Wei couldn't help but twitch his mouth. This girl really knew how to breathe. He knew it. There wasn't even a shadow here, much less a person. The terrain was just an empty valley. Where would the right place and the right place come from? Although we don't have these, we can create them. Sima Yue continued. Create? Of course there's a way. You guys wait here and watch. After Sima Yue finished speaking, she leapt into the air and stopped at the center of the valley, carefully looking at the distance below. What is she doing? Xian Minglang asked curiously. We'll know once we take a look. Qi Wei and the others didn't know what she was going to do. She's not going to set up a formation, is she? Yu Qing guessed. Setting up a formation? The last time I went out with Master Bu, he looked around in the air like this before starting to set up the array. Yu Qing said uncertainly. Master Bu is an array formation grandmaster, so it's reasonable for him to be able to set up an array formation just by looking at the terrain. But Brother Sima's age is still so young. Even if you're an array master, it's impossible to have such high attainments, right? If he can really set up a formation just by looking at the terrain, I'll call him Big Brother and be his little brother. Qi Wei said with a grin. He did not believe that Sima Yue was preparing to set up an array. She must be looking for something or thinking of a way to stop those spirit beasts. When Sima Yue heard his words, she glanced at him as if to see if he was qualified to be her underling. Following that, under everyone's shocked gazes, she took out an array stone and began to place it into the ground in an orderly manner. She can really set up an array just by looking at it? Xian Minglang felt like this world was a fantasy. Qi Wei rubbed his eyes hard, but when he saw that she was still setting up the array, he muttered, I must be hallucinating, This guy? Even Blue Blade was so shocked that he couldn't close his mouth. This time, Yuqing was the first to regain her composure. She looked at Sima Yue with eyes full of admiration. "Qi Wei, you're done for." Her serious tone brought everyone back to their senses. "What do you mean I'm done for?" Qi Wei's brain was still in a crash, so he didn't understand what she meant. The great young master of the Qi clan is going to be someone's underling. I wonder if your brother and the others will beat you up if they find out. Yuqing said with a smile. Qi Wei thought about what he had just said. His mind spun a few times before he finally said with a smile, "If I really become Brother Sima's underling, my brother and the others definitely won't beat me up. Instead, they'll praise me for following such an awesome person." Maybe it really is. Zhou Lan thought of his brothers and couldn't help but laugh. Such a young array master. She really is someone from that clan. Blue Blade looked at Sima Yue with a burning gaze. Sima Yue was focused on setting up the array. She had to finish setting up the array before the spirit beasts arrived. Otherwise, everything would be for naught. This was because she didn't react to their burning gazes. This time, she was setting up the dragon trapping array again. However, because she needed to study an array within an array, she spent a lot more time than last time. However, in the eyes of the others, her speed was already heaven-defying. After setting up the array, she flew to a flat area in the distance and set up another array. Then, she waved at the others and had them fly over. "Boss, you're done setting it up?" Everyone went over and Qi Wei landed beside Sima Yue. He blurted out "boss," without feeling awkward at all. Sima Yue glanced at him and said, "I'm not some boss. Don't randomly call me that." "How are you not boss? I already said that if you set up the array based on the terrain, I'll be your underling and call you boss. You can't look down on me and make me look like a treacherous villain," Qi Wei said as he hugged her neck. Sima Yue saw him say such shameless things in such a serious manner and felt that this person was a weirdo. She slapped his hand down and said, "If you want to die, then shave your beard. Then I'll take you as my underling." Piff, Yuqing and the others laughed unkindly. They knew how much this fellow treasured his beard. Now that she was asking him to shave it, he would definitely be at a loss. Yu guessed that he treasured his beard a lot, so she made this request to make him back off. Seeing his troubled expression, she patted his shoulder and said, "If you can't do it, then forget it. My request was too strict. No one will say that you're a treacherous person." "Who said I can't do it?" Qi Wei took out a sharp knife and immediately cut off his beard. Sima Yue did not think that he would be so fast. By the time she reacted, he had already moved. Qi Wei's beard was cut off and he looked very funny. If he did not shave off the rest, he definitely would not dare to go out and meet people. Although Sima Yue felt guilty, she still smiled when she saw him like this. Her smile was very reserved. Blue Blade and the others laughed even more unbridled. "Qi Wei, you're actually willing to cut off your beard. When we go back, those people will definitely be shocked to death." Xian Ming Lang held his stomach and laughed. Sima Yue's expression suddenly changed. She interrupted their laughter and said, "The spirit beasts are coming." Chapter 766. Sima Yue's words successfully turned the joyous atmosphere into a solemn one. Everyone stopped smiling and looked fearfully in the direction they had come from. "Boss, is your spell formation really going to work?" Qi Wei paused in the middle of shaving as he asked with uncertainty. Sima Yue looked at his half-shaved beard and acknowledged him as her boss. "What's the rush? You'll know whether it's useful or not in a while," Sima Yue said calmly, completely different from the others who were nervous. Qi Wei thought about it and agreed. It was useless for him to be anxious now. Hence, he calmly went back to shave. Whenever he took care of his beard, he could lose himself in it and ignore everything that was going on outside. Sima Yue was mesmerized by his sudden change in temperament. He was such a handsome young man, so why did he like a big beard so much? While Blue Blade and the others were nervous, Yue was calm, and Qi Wei was focused on shaving his beard. A few black dots slowly appeared on the horizon. Then, the black dot grew bigger and bigger. It was the spirit beast that had attacked them earlier. Senior apprentice Sister Zhou. Yu Qing nervously grabbed Zhou Lan's hand when she saw the spirit beasts approaching. Zhou Lan's palms were sweaty, but she still held Yu Qing's hand and said with a trembling voice, "It's fine, it should be fine." After Qi Wei was done shaving, he put away his knife and saw the spirit beasts approaching. He almost screamed, but Sima Yue covered his mouth. "Don't shout." Sima Yue glared at him and said softly. Qi Wei nodded. When the hand on his mouth was released, he whispered, "Why is there something wrong with these spirit beasts?" Blue Blade and the others also noticed that the spirit beasts didn't fly towards them. Instead, they flew towards the valley. Qi Wei whispered into Sima Yue's ear, "Boss, what's going on?" The others also looked over. Sima Yue pushed his face away and asked, "What's wrong?" "It's those spirit beasts. Why are they flying in that direction?" "We're clearly here," said Qi Wei. "In their eyes, we are there." Sima Yue pointed at the valley. "But that's because I've set up an array that's connected to the array we're in now. Our scenery and aura will be transmitted to that array. That's why those spirit beasts think that we're in the valley." Sima Yue explained. "Is it the legendary mother-child formation?" Yu Qing asked. Sima Yue nodded and said, "You know about the mother-child array? Is Miss Yu Qing also an array master?" Yu Qing shook her head, saying, "I'm not an array master. I've only gone out with Master Bu and heard him talk about the mother-child array. At that time, he lamented that many array formations had been lost. It's because this mother-child formation uses two formations together. It's very special, so I remembered it." "Master Bu? Is he a formation master from the heroic sword sect?" Sima Yue asked. "He's very skilled. Many powers in the inner regions respect him." Yu Qing said with a look of admiration. "If he knew that you could set up the mother-child array, he'd definitely go crazy from excitement. Who knows, he might even come looking for you." Then it's best if you don't tell me." Sima Yue did not want to deal with those curious people, especially when they were so busy recently. Those spirit beasts flew above the valley and stopped. They looked at the people in the valley with fierce gazes. Chirp! A vulture attacked the people in the valley, spitting out a fireball. That fireball flew over and scattered their illusions. At the same time, the array Sima Yue and the rest were in was broken as well. The few of them appeared in the spirit beast's vision. "It's fake." The spirit beasts realized that they had been tricked and became even more violent. They wanted to fly over and tear them apart, but they realized that they were trapped. All of them howled in the dragon-trapping array. The flying spirit beasts flew randomly in the array. Some of the spirit beasts on their backs were thrown off and fell to the ground. It was a good thing that those spirit beasts had thick skin. Even if they fell, they did not die. Blue Blade and the rest had guessed that the array had failed when the spirit beasts discovered them. They were shocked when they saw them flying over, but they saw a bunch of messy fellows. "Haha, those spirit beasts look so funny." Xian Ming Lang slapped his thigh and laughed. "It really is funny." Blue Blade could not help but laugh. The others also had a relaxed look on their faces. Only the heavens knew that their inner robes were soaked with sweat. "What do we do now?" Qi Wei asked. He who had shaved his beard was still white and clean. He had delicate features and was quite good-looking. "Let's go and capture them." Sima Yue said. "Capture them?" Were they sure they weren't going to capture them? They followed Sima Yue and flew over. They stopped in midair and looked at the spirit beasts. These spirit beasts are quite strong. It's a pity that they've lost their minds and been controlled by the Ghost Clan. Zhoulan said. "Yes, it's a pity," Yu Qing said regretfully. From their point of view, since these spirit beasts were already controlled by the Ghost Clan, there was only death for them, because they definitely could not let them go and leave behind future troubles for themselves. "Little Meng, do you want these spirit beasts?" Sima Yu asked. Little Meng appeared in front of everyone. Seeing the spirit beasts that were trapped, her eyes lit up as she ran over. She cried out, Yu, these spirit beasts are quite strong. I like them. I want them. They do look quite strong. Do you really want them? Sima Yue asked. Little Meng nodded. Can you control them? I need more time. Little Meng said, but there won't be a problem. Then be careful. Sima Yue warned. Yes, yes. Little Meng replied and flew over impatiently. Sima Yue saw that Little Meng had gone to do it. She told them to go down and flew to the ground. She took out a chair and a book, preparing to read to pass the time. Boss, are we just going to do nothing? Chi Wei saw that Sima Yue was very relaxed and asked. Yes, there's no need to do anything. Sima Yue said. Then what do we do with these spirit beasts? Little Meng will take care of them. Chi Wei raised his head and looked at Little Meng, who was circling around the dragon trapping formation. She looked like a little girl who was only a few years old. He deeply suspected that Yue was wrong. Boss, can she do it? There are so many spirit beasts. Chi Wei said worriedly. If you doubt Little Meng's ability, be careful that she will cause trouble for you in the future. Sima Yue looked up at him and said. Will she? You can try. Sima Yue said. Seeing that Sima Yue said it so casually, Chi Wei subconsciously shuddered. Forget it. But how is Little Meng going to deal with these spirit beasts? Chapter 767. Little Meng is a spirit-type spirit beast, right? Zhou Lan walked over and said. Sort of. Sima Yue did not admit or deny it. Little Dream does know how to use mental attacks and mental control. However, she knew far more than that. Wow, a spiritual-type spirit beast. It's extremely rare. Chi Wei looked at Xiao Meng in a different light. It's a pity that I can't tell what her true form is. Boss, what kind of spirit beast is she? You want to know? Go ask Little Dream. Sima Yue said, she still needs a long time. Why don't you guys sit down and cultivate or do something else? Everyone saw that Sima Yue was unwilling to talk about Xiao Meng, so they did not ask any more questions. Each of them found a place to meditate and adjust their breathing. Chi Wei and Xian Minglang, however, did not want to cultivate. Without disturbing Little Dream, they watched her control the magical beasts. Sima Yue was engrossed in her book when Xiao Meng suddenly said to her, Yeah, this guy is too bad. I don't like it. I don't want it anymore. You really don't want it? Sima Yue raised her head and asked. No, Little Dream said affirmatively. All right then. Sima Yue stretched out her hand and shot out a cluster of flames. The flame penetrated the barrier and entered the spirit beast. Once it touched its body, it quickly turned into a raging inferno. The spirit beast was instantly burned into ashes. After the flame was burned clean, it turned into a small cluster and flew around in the dragon-trapping array. Even if the spirit beasts had lost their minds, they were still instinctively afraid of it. Who told them to be controlled by a dark force? After getting rid of the ones she didn't like, Little Dream continued to tame them with satisfaction. Meanwhile, the two people watching below were already dumbfounded. What kind of flame is this? Chi Wei felt his breathing become irregular. He looked at Little Birdie as if it was a creature from another world. Too scary. Xian Minglang could no longer control his little heart. He had received too much stimulation today. He was almost unable to take it. Blue Blade, Zhou Lan, and Yu Qing also opened their eyes and stared blankly at Little Birdie. Their gazes were either shocked or deep. Yu didn't care about their reactions as she continued to read. Blue Blade looked at her, his mind filled with thoughts. He had always thought that he was a genius, but now he realized that there was always someone better than him. It turned out that there was such an outstanding person. If you keep looking, I'm going to have a hole in my body. Sima Yu was disturbed by their gazes and couldn't focus on the book. She simply closed the book and looked up at them, asking, If you have anything to say, just say it. Chi Wei and the others all looked at her. Boss, we've known each other for so long, but I still don't know where you're from. When Blue Blade, Zhou Lan, and the others saw Chi Wei immediately understood their intentions and asked the question on behalf of everyone. I am currently studying in the Heavenly Sect. Sima Yue said. Then where is your home? Yu Qing asked. I'm from the continent below. I don't have a family here. Sima Yu knew that the things she revealed must have made them curious about her identity. She said, if you're talking about a home, there is one. It's not far from the heavenly sect. We bought a house. You don't have a family? I do. It's in the restless continent. When we came up, the entire clan didn't move. This time, it was my brother and grandfather who came up. Sima Yu said, a few friends came up as well. Then how long have you been in the primordial lands? Zhou asked. Let me think. It's been 5 or 6 years. Unknowingly, it's been so long. Sima Yue sighed. Qi Wei glanced at Sima Yue and could not help but complain. It's only 5 or 6 years. For a cultivator, it's just a flash in the pan. Did she need to be so emotional? Forgive me for asking, but how old is brother Sima this year? I'm over 30. Sima Yue said. Cough cough dash. Qi Wei choked on his own saliva. You're only 30? What 30? I'm just over 30. Sima Yue glared at him. No wonder brother Sima lamented that 5 or 6 years have passed. That is indeed a very long time for you. Blue Blade changed brother Sima to brother Sima and called him little brother. Brother Lan, don't tease me. Sima Yue laughed. Coming up from the restless continent in your 20s. Heavens, are you a pervert? Xian Minglang looked at Sima Yue in shock. Cough cough. Sima Yu choked on the adjectives he used to describe her. How could this guy say that? How could he call someone a pervert in front of them? But before she could protest, Zhou Lan and the others nodded. Evildoer is no longer enough to describe her. We can only use the word pervert. That's the most appropriate. Actually, there's nothing special about me. It's just that I've had more opportunities than others. My current strength doesn't come from my own cultivation. It's all due to external conditions. Sima Yue said. We know. If you really cultivated on your own, who knows how long it would take? Xian Minglang said. Qi Wei suddenly cried out. What's wrong? Everyone saw him cry out so loudly and thought that something had happened. I know she's younger than me, but I didn't think she was that much younger than me. That's not even a fraction of my age. Qi Wei said miserably. If other people knew that my boss was that much younger than me, wouldn't that be very embarrassing? It won't. Xian Minglang patted his shoulder. Think about it. You recognized such a young genius as your boss. That's such a glorious thing. Other people wouldn't even think about it. Qi Wei thought about it and habitually touched his beard. Only when he touched his smooth chin did he remember that his beard was gone. Minglang is right. Other people wouldn't even think about it. I didn't shave my beard for so many years in vain. He rubbed his chin and said with a grin. When he first said that he wanted to recognize her as his boss, it was all a joke. That was because he never thought that Yue really knew how to set up arrays. Later on, he shaved his beard and wanted to recognize her. His original intention was to keep his promise. But after witnessing the power of her arrays and hearing about her, he admired her from the bottom of his heart. He was willing to call her boss. That little bit of frustration from shave his beard disappeared like smoke. After that, they talked about other things. Everyone was talking and laughing happily. At this time, Qi Wei suddenly asked, Boss, have you heard that there's a Sima family in the primordial lands? Sima Yue heard this and her heart jumped. She casually flipped through the book in her hand and said, The primordial lands are so big. There should be more people with the surname Sima, right? Chapter 768. Qi Wei said mysteriously, It has something to do with me. I've never seen anyone else. How could it have anything to do with me? Sima Yue denied. It's true, Qi Wei said seriously. When you were in the tunnel, you used a spiritual technique that allowed you to become one with your contracted beast, right? Sima Yue turned to look at Qi Wei and asked, How did you know? When Qi Wei saw the look in her eyes, he immediately cried out, Don't stare at me, we only found out because we met by chance. I have no intention of tricking you. You've met before. Sima Yue's gaze softened a little. But it's right outside our sect, Chi said. It was lost 100 years ago. Sima Lu Yun. Sima Yue muttered this name and memorized it in her heart. What's wrong with that Sima family? Why would you associate me with them? Just based on the fact that you're not even sure about a spirit technique? At first, we didn't think in that direction, but later on, when we saw you use the same spiritual technique, we guessed it. Who would have thought that you weren't? Chi Wei sighed. Misunderstandings can happen that easily. Sima Yue smiled. That's right. Xian Minglang said, we've always treated you as a member of that family. If we hadn't asked you today, I'm afraid the misunderstanding would have continued. However, I feel that since Yue is so outstanding, even the younger generation of the Sima family wouldn't be able to catch up to you. Yu Qing looked at Sima Yue with admiration, not feeling the slightest bit embarrassed that she was younger than her. After conversing for a while, they called each other by their names. Yue wasn't used to being addressed as brother or young master. I think so too, Xian Minglang said. I wonder how Yue and the descendants of the Sima family will look like when they meet. Even if Yue isn't part of the Sima family, I think Yue and the Sima family have some connection. Blue Blade said. Because of that spiritual technique? Sima Yue asked. Blue Blade nodded lightly. I've heard Master talk about this spiritual technique before. It's the secret of the Sima family, and no one outside knows it. Yue also said that this is a technique passed down in your family. This means that you two are related. So be it. Sima Yue said, anyway, they don't know me and I don't know them. I don't want to meet them either. Don't you want to verify it? Zhou Lan asked. What's there to verify? Sima Yue shrugged with a smile. I don't rely on them, nor do I need their help. I'm living a good life now, why would I want to break it? But the Sima family is so powerful, if you go to them, you'll definitely be nurtured well, Yu Qing said. That kind of family has many geniuses, I might not be able to live a good life there. Also, I'm living a good life now, Sima Yue said. That's true. Boss's life outside isn't bad at all, Chi Wei said. Time always passed quickly when they were chatting, the few of them got to know each other better, and felt that their personalities were more similar. Their relationship was much closer than before. It's done. Xiao Meng waved at Sima Yue in the air. Sima Yue flew to her side and said, it's all under control. Xiao Meng nodded and said proudly, it's all done, you can remove the array. Little birdie, why aren't you going? Sima Yue shouted at little birdie. Little birdie fluttered in the air a few times, protesting its name unhappily. But it wasn't a living thing after all, and couldn't speak. Although Sima Yue could roughly guess what it meant, she couldn't really communicate with it. And Qi Yen, the only one who could communicate with it, didn't care about this small matter at all, and naturally didn't think of helping it defend its rights. Little birdie hopped a few times, and seeing that Sima Yue didn't care about it, it flew resentfully towards a pile of array stones in the valley, and accurately wrapped around one of them, burning it to ashes. Following the disappearance of that array stone, the array lost its effect. She waved her hand, and the remaining array stones were all collected by her. Boss, this array can only be broken from the inside? Yu Qing flew over and asked. That's right. This array can only be broken from the inside, because everything happens inside. Sima Yue said, the people outside can't go in, and the people inside can't come out. We can't break the array from the outside either. Little Meng, go take care of your little soldiers. Okay. Little Meng waved her hand, and those spirit beasts disappeared from where they were, as if they were taken away by her, but they were actually kept by Sima Yue into her spirit pagoda. Wow, where did those spirit beasts go? Chi Wei asked curiously. Little Meng's race has their own auxiliary space. Sima Yue casually found an excuse. Many spirit beasts had their own auxiliary space. Some could only be used to store a few things, while others were very big. They automatically assumed that Little Meng was in this situation. Yu, I'm a bit tired, I'm going back to rest. If there's anything, you have to wake me up. Little Meng's eyelids were a bit heavy, and she wanted to sleep. Sima Yue knew that she had used up a lot of energy to control so many spirit beasts, and now she needed to rest, so she patted her head and said, "Go back and rest." Little Meng went in, and Zhou Lan said, "Let's go back. Those people from the Chiu family must be scared out of their wits." Okay. Chongming transformed into his true form to bring everyone back, but before they could fly far, they saw a large patch of dark clouds floating towards them. Those dark clouds are really fast. Xian Minglang pointed at the dark clouds and said. Blue Blade and Zhou Lan's expressions suddenly changed, the latter slapping Xian Minglang's head and saying, "Idiot, how are those dark clouds? Those are evil spirits." Xian Minglang was stunned for a moment. Trembling, he pointed at the evil spirits that were floating over quickly and shouted, "Damn it, what kind of good luck did we have? We just got rid of a batch of evil spirits that were being controlled, and now there are so many evil spirits. Previously, there were no evil spirits and spirit beasts that attacked at the same time. Everyone, get ready," Blue Blade ordered. "Is there even a need to prepare?" Chi Wei and the others stood beside Blue Blade, looking like they were ready for battle. Sima Yue did not stand at the front this time, as she could not do everything by herself every time. That would dampen their enthusiasm, so she would let them take the lead this time. She also wanted to see how good they were at fighting against evil spirits. As the evil spirits floated closer, Blue Blade and the others began to condense their spirit energy. Yue's guess was right, they were all fire and would attribute spirit energy, which happened to be the opposite of the Ghost Clan. Chapter 769. Although Blue Blade and the others focused on body tempering and spirit cultivation as a supplement, their spirit chi cultivation was still quite good. They were quite familiar with spirit skills and their coordination was also very good. Please search to see the most complete. As a result, he did not fall into a disadvantage in the first wave of confrontation. But as the evil ghosts flew over from behind, Blue Blade and the others felt the pressure increase. They were momentarily distracted. Xian Minglang was the youngest and had the weakest battle strength. Although Blue Blade and the others were willing to cooperate with him, they were still unable to attend to one thing and lose sight of another. He was surrounded by a group of evil spirits. "Ming Ming!" Blue Blade shouted. He wanted to save him, but because he was surrounded by evil spirits, there was nothing he could do. Pa! A bolt of lightning fell, and the evil spirits surrounding Xian Minglang were struck into nothingness. At the same time, lightning fell from other places, and the evil spirits around Blue Blade and the others were all cleaved clean. Then, the little birdie turned into a raging flame and pounced towards those evil spirits, making them unable to get close to them. Little Roar couldn't sit still when he saw the evil spirits. He requested to come out from the spirit pagoda. After he came out, his little body exploded with a vigorous and holy power. Wherever it spread out, the evil spirits were cleansed. "Are you guys all right?" Sima Yue asked. Blue Blade and the rest looked at Sima Yue. There were no words to describe their feelings. In the end, they could only say, "Thank you. You saved us again. If you feel bad, you can remember to repay me in the future." Sima Yue said. "I have," Blue Blade said. With Little Roar and Little Birdie taking action, even though there were many evil spirits, they could not resist their power and were quickly dealt with by them. Sima Yue looked around and did not see the guy with the 100 ghost banner. She did not know where these evil spirits came from. On a cliff somewhere in bright red mountain peak, a feminine and beautiful man put away the 100 ghosts banner in his hand, his face gloomy. "You actually failed." His voice was cold, causing a chill to rise from the bottom of everyone's heart. "My lord, even with so many evil spirits, they still failed?" Behind him, a man wrapped in a large black robe asked in a hoarse voice. "It's just a few humans, yet we still can't kill them even after mobilizing so many people. Do you want me to do it myself? What about the others?" Deja's eyes flashed with ruthlessness and killing intent. "My lord, those people also sent spirit beasts over at about the same time as us. We still need to wait for the results." Another servant replied. "I didn't expect to work with them this time." Deja bent his slender fingers and rubbed his thumb against his index finger. Master! The servant whose face could not be seen bowed slightly. Ghost Master, feel free to speak your mind. Deja turned around and faced the Ghost Master. My lord, in my opinion, it's better to ignore those people. The Ghost Master said. Those humans killed so many of my evil spirits, are we just going to let them go like this? Deja's eyes flashed with unwillingness, but he did not explicitly oppose the Ghost Master's suggestion. My lord, our purpose in coming to the human world this time was to collect souls and enrich the 100 Ghosts banner. Now that we've achieved our goal, we should go back as soon as possible. The Ghost Master said, as for those humans, they were able to exterminate our people despite being besieged by so many evil spirits. This means that they have something special about them, and they happen to be our nemesis. Now is a sensitive time, it's not worth it for us to use our strength against them. But if I don't vent my anger, I won't feel good. We spent so much effort to come to the human world. If we go back, we don't know when we'll be able to come again. If we let this guy go now, we don't know if we'll have another chance in the future. Deja said hatefully. My lord, the bigger picture is the most important thing. The Ghost Master said earnestly, what happened here is just a small interlude. The bigger picture over there is the most important thing. If my lord really can't take this lying down, we can brand her soul. If she comes to the ghost world after death, we'll be able to sense her. It won't be too late to deal with her then. Speaking of the bigger picture, Deja slowly calmed down and said, the Ghost Master is right. Now that the ghosts in the 100 Ghosts banner have been replenished, those people are even more vicious because of their unwillingness to die. When we go back and refine them, our fighting power will be even stronger. It's a pity that the method we use to come to the human world has too many limitations. We can only move around near the exit, otherwise we can get more souls. The Ghost Master said with some regret. This method is already the best we can think of. Deja said, back then, I don't know how Ant came to the human world. Dark Princess Ukuluo? The Ghost Master said faintly, back then, she left the ghost world by relying on the only dark spirit pearl in the world. It's a pity that when we captured her back then, we didn't find the dark spirit pearl on her. Then let's prepare to return to the ghost world. At this time, 2 ghost servants appeared in different directions and came in front of them at the same time. What's the situation? The Ghost Master asked the 2 of them. My lord, the scene is recorded here. One of them took out a small black pearl that was as bright as a pearl. The Ghost Master waved his sleeve and the black pearl appeared in his hand. He injected a trace of dark energy, and the scene of Sima Yue exterminating those evil ghosts appeared in front of everyone. Wood, lightning, and that flame, the evil ghosts were almost powerless in front of her. That flame! The Ghost Master saw little Burkay and exclaimed. The scene disappeared at this time, but he was still in shock and did not react. It was the first time Deja saw the Ghost Master so shocked, and he frowned in confusion. Ghost Master? What's wrong with that flame? The Ghost Master, who had always respected him, ignored him and injected a trace of dark energy into the black pearl. The scene appeared in front of everyone again, and this time the Ghost Master only stared at the flame. In the beginning, Little Burke's figure was a ball of raging flame, and the space where the flame passed through could be seen being distorted by the heat. In the end, Little Burkay shrank back to her small and delicate appearance. And the scene ended again. Deja saw that the Ghost Master was so focused on little Burkay, and asked again, Ghost Master, what's so special about this flame? If I'm not wrong, this should be the long-lost Nirvana flame. The Ghost Master said with some uncertainty. Nirvana flame? None of the top 10 flame rankings have this. What kind of flame is this? The Ghost Master took a deep breath and said, of course you don't know, because it has disappeared from the world for too long. Nirvana flame. A flame that can destroy heaven and earth, and burn everything in the world. It is the greatest nemesis of us ghosts. Chapter 770. Deja listened to Ghost Master. /////776f7 for 6f% 6 inches. It really that powerful? He suspected that the Ghost Master was exaggerating, but he also understood that the Ghost Master was not that kind of person. The Ghost Master looked at the black bead in his hand and thought about something. Deja didn't dare to interrupt him. He turned his attention to the other servant and asked, "What news did you get?" "Master, there are many spirit masters coming from the other side of the Fei River. They say they want to come in and attack us. There are also many monarch rank experts among them." The servant said, "Come to attack us? An ordinary person dares to come in? Courting death. It just so happens that we're still lacking some ghost spirits, so let's use them as ghost spirits," Deja said. "No," the Ghost Master objected. "But didn't we say that it was a pity that Gui Ling wasn't good enough? Why are we not doing it now that people are here?" Deja did not understand. "Now is not the time," the Ghost Master said. "If the Nirvana flame hadn't appeared, it would have been perfect for those people to come. But now that the Nirvana flame has appeared, what we need to do now is to leave this place as soon as possible. The ghost spirits can also return to the ghost realm to look for it." "Are we still going to make the soul mark?" Deja asked. "Yes," said the Ghost Master. "But it's not as easy as it used to be. I'm afraid we'll have to sacrifice a lot. We still have to try. Since she is the holder of the Nirvana flame, if she goes to the ghost realm, maybe I can use her," Deja said. "It's good that you have such thoughts. Then I'll make the arrangements," the Ghost Master said. "Thank you, Ghost Master," Deja said. "But since those people want to come in, we can't let them come in for nothing. If we can't take their souls, then let them do something for us," the Ghost Master said. "Aren't we going back? Do we have to wait for them to come in before we go back?" Deja asked. "Of course we have to wait," the Ghost Master said. "Not only do we have to wait, we have to unlock the space lock." "Ghost Master, lock the space. We have to leave in 3 days." She said. "It's all right," said the Ghost Master. "Perhaps we won't be able to wait for 3 days. Then I'll call everyone back and get ready to leave at any time," Deja said. "Be quiet. Before we leave, don't let the other party notice our intentions," the Ghost Master instructed. Deja frowned slightly and said, "Those people were originally chasing after us. If we made any movements, they would probably know. Then create a false impression for them. If they leave with us, we will be in big trouble when we go back. Why don't we let someone else solve this problem for us? Are you saying that we should let those people come in and deal with them? That's a good idea. I will tell them to be careful." Deja reacted and turned to leave. "Continue to keep an eye on them," the Ghost Master said to the 2 people kneeling in front of him. "Yes, Master." As they spoke, the 2 of them bowed to the Ghost Master before getting up and leaving. Towards this Master, His Highness had instructed them to treat him with the same respect. Thus, no one dared to neglect him. The Ghost Master stood alone on the cliff, holding the black pearl in his hand. His black robe fluttered in the wind, but it did not attract his attention. When Sima Yue and the rest returned to the city, the Chiu siblings were still in the secret room. She and Little Roar went down and fused into the enchantment. "You're finally back. How's the situation? Are they okay?" Chiu Rua saw Sima Yue and asked with concern. "You've only met once, and you're so concerned about them?" Sima Yue said. "Although we haven't interacted much, we were still trapped together. We can be considered friends in distress," Chiu Rua said. "Sister, since young Master Sima is here, they will definitely be fine," Chiu Rei said. Sima Yue smiled and said, "They're up there. Those spirit beasts have been dealt with, and the danger is temporarily gone." "Then let's go out and take a look," Chiu Rua said as she closed the enchantment. "Sister, since there's no danger now, let's go out too," little fatty Chiu Zhantang said. "What are you going out for?" Chiu Rua said disapprovingly. "We haven't gone out in a long time." Chiu Zhantang lowered his head and said. Chiu Rua looked at her brother and sister's pleading eyes and sighed in her heart. They were still children and at the age where they liked to play. After being trapped here for so long, hearing that there was no danger, they wanted to go out and take a breather. However, the situation outside had not been completely resolved. If they met with any danger when they went out, what would they do? Young Master Sima, can they go out? Compared to her sister, Chiu Rue was more direct. They should be able to go out for a while. Sima Yue said, but it's best if they don't stay for too long. They'll come back after taking a breather. Both sides of the ghost clan had been dealt a heavy blow by her, so they should rest for a while. Since young Master Sima says it's okay, sister will let them go out for half a day. Chiu Rue said. Thank you. Little Fatty smiled gratefully at Sima Yue. The group of children behind him also looked at her gratefully. Then let's go out. Sima Yue smiled. The group of people left the secret room. Before they even left the room, they felt a fluctuation in the air. This feeling? She quickly walked out and saw a group of people coming out of the spatial tunnel, landing in front of Blue Blade and the others in the courtyard. Greetings to Master, Master Purple Blade, Uncle Lee, and all my fellow disciples. Blue Blade led the group and bowed. Master Blue Blade was a middle-aged man with a square face. He looked honest, but his eyes shone with a sharp light. We've already told the others about what you just said. They're currently recruiting people and should be here soon. We brought people over first. He nodded at Blue Blade and the others, but his gaze landed on Sima Yue. Sima Yue roughly understood the identities of these people from how Blue Blade addressed them. She cupped her fists and bowed to Master Blue Blade, then asked, "What's going on? I thought we couldn't communicate with the outside world?" The moment you went down, we felt like the space had been released. The shackles were removed, and we could communicate with the outside world. So we quickly reported the situation to Master and the others, and they rushed over. Blue Blade explained. This must be our little friend Yue. Master Blue Blade asked. Yue greets Master Blue Blade. Sima Yue said politely. But how did they know about her? Could it be that Blue Blade and the others had told them? She had only gone down for a short period of time. How could they tell the outside world so much? Thinking of this, she subconsciously glanced at Blue Blade. It wasn't them. Master Blue Blade laughed. But your name has already spread through Mushui City and the surrounding cities. Chapter 771. Sima Yue looked at Master Blue Blade in surprise. How did an outsider know about her? Master Blue Blade, please enlighten me. That's because you were the first to discover the situation with the ghosts. When Xiao Yi told everyone about the situation, he mentioned you. That's how everyone knew about you, Master Blue Blade said. City Lord Xiao is really promoting me. Sima Yu's forehead seemed to have 3 black lines sliding down. She thought about it for a while before changing the way she said it. Your master and the others should have received the news as well. They should be here soon. My master? Who is it? Sima Yue blinked. She did not know who the master was. Su Jin had just returned to the heavenly sect not long ago, Old Man Devil's whereabouts were unknown, and Feng Jixing had also left the outer regions. She couldn't think of who it was. Yes, of course it's me. Before Master Blue Blade finished speaking, Su Jin appeared in front of everyone. Master? Why you here? Sima Yue was surprised to see Su Jin. Didn't he go back? Su Jin came out from the spatial passage, followed by some teachers of the heavenly sect. Wei Ziqi and the others said that they had not been able to contact you for such a long time and were a little worried. Furthermore, the appearance of the ghost clan in the AI continent was no small matter, so they informed the academy about the matter. Old Yuan is lazy, so he asked me to bring some people here. Su Jin looked her up and down and said, seeing that you're not missing an arm or a leg, there's nothing wrong with you. Sima Yue did not like his way of showing concern, so she ignored him. After that, many people appeared on the empty city. They were the leaders of the various sections. The originally deserted empty city was now bustling with noise and excitement. Yue, are you okay? Chou Xiaotian saw Sima Yue the moment he arrived and immediately flew over to ask. Look, I'm not missing an arm or a leg, what's wrong with me? Sima Yue said, why didn't you stay in Mushui City? Why are you here? She remembered that his attribute was the metal element. As for the people who came here, they should be of those 3 attributes. I also have a kind of wood attribute spiritual energy, but I don't usually use it, Cho Xiaotian said. How is the situation here? Someone asked. Blue Blade explained the current situation to everyone. After hearing that bright red mountain peak had become like this, everyone was shocked and angry. To think that you've become like this. Damned ghost clan. We must kill all of the ghost clansmen. That's right. Those who were able to come here were either the consuls or disciples of the large sections. Although they were very angry, they did not curse or curse. But before, the people here couldn't contact the outside world, and the people outside couldn't use the teleportation array to come in. How can they do it today? Someone asked. Blue Blade and the others didn't know the answer to this question, so they couldn't give them an answer. No matter what the reason was, they had finally broken the isolation of the bright red mountain peak. Isn't that obvious? It must be those fellows who are preparing to run. Sujin said. How do you know? This obstruction was created by the ghost clan. Now that they have removed it, it means that they don't need it anymore. If they aren't running, then what are they? Sujin said. Sima Yue also agreed with Sujin's point of view. There were no more humans here for the ghost clan to capture. If they didn't leave, would they stay here and wait for the humans to deal with them? If they really want to leave, we can't just let them go. We must make them pay the price. Of course. But we don't know where they are. This bright red mountain peak isn't big, but it isn't small either. If we want to find them, I'm afraid it will be difficult. Xiaoyi said. Red Cloud Peak and Rhinoceros Valley. Sima Yue said. What? I said, they are at Red Cloud Peak and Rhinoceros Valley. But I don't know where they are. Sima Yue said. How do you know? Before I met Blue Blade and the others, I caught a ghost clan and asked. It's just that I don't know where those 2 places are, so I didn't go. Sima Yue shrugged. What about that ghost clan? An old woman asked. I killed him. Sima Yue said. How could you kill him just like that? The old woman scolded sternly. The moment Sima Yue heard her arrogant tone, she felt uncomfortable and said, seeing how they've done so many bad things, could it be that I'm going to keep them alive and treat them to a drink and chat? Of course I'm going to kill them after asking them questions. You damn old hag, you dare to question my student? Su Jin stood in front of Sima Yue and stared at the old woman. Who are you calling a damn old hag? I'm calling you. I'm old and my brain isn't working well anymore. You saw me calling you names and still asked who I was calling? Su Jin shook his head and said. Sima Yue laughed unkindly behind Su Jin. Master is great. The 2 of you, now is not the time to quarrel. Please look at the big picture. Let's deal with the ghost clan first. If they take advantage of the time to escape, it will be too late for regrets. Xiao Yi came out to be the mediator. Right, we have to hurry over. Someone said. Since there are 2 places, then we'll split into 2 groups. Master Blue Blade said. I'm not going with that damn old hag. Su Jin was the first to express his disdain. I'm not going with you either. The other party was angered by Su Jin and fiercely said, Su Jin, you better keep your little life, or else. The old woman glanced at Su Jin and Sima Yue with killing intent. It seemed like she planned to end their lives after this matter was over. Su Jin shamelessly picked his nose. Sima Yue pouted. Another petty old hag. Why was this old hag so petty? She asked Su Jin in a small voice. Su Jin patted Sima Yue's shoulder and said loudly, That's a good question. Let Master tell you, this kind of person wants to be young and beautiful. In the end, it's either because of their cultivation method or because of other reasons. They can't maintain their beauty, so their hearts slowly become narrow and they become perverted. It's a good thing you're a man and don't care about your appearance. Even if you become an old man in the future, you won't become like this. Sima Yue couldn't help but twitch her mouth. Master, do you have to be so loud? Although her voice could be heard, it was still a whisper on the surface. This guy was good, he directly shouted it out. Wouldn't this make his deadpan face even uglier? Why did Master hate this old hag so much? She had never seen him like this before. Could it be that this ugly old hag was his old lover? Chapter 772. Sima Yu saw that the old woman was so angry that her aura increased greatly. Her anger exploded and even her skirt flew up. She then noticed that the old woman's skirt was actually made of lace. Black lace. She felt a little nauseous. The old woman's aura was suppressed by Su Jin, but Su Jin did not show any weakness. With a wave of his hand, the old woman was pushed back. When did your strength increase so much? The old woman took 2 steps back and looked at Su Jin in fear. When it increased has nothing to do with you. Su Jin harumphed. Everyone, time is of the essence. Everyone, please hurry and set off. Master Blue Blade urged. It could be considered an indirect mediator, giving the old woman a way out. Right. Let's go quickly. Otherwise, those from the Ghost Clan will leave. Someone agreed. Then we'll go now. Xiao Yi said, half of us will go to Red Cloud Ridge and the other half will go to Rhinoceros Valley. Today's matter, I'll have to trouble everyone. Sima Yue turned to the stunned Qiu family siblings and said, you guys go back first. Once the matter is completely resolved, we'll inform you guys. He couldn't let them follow him. Their strength was very low. If they followed him, the aftershocks of the battle would probably kill them. Qiu Ruo and Qiu Rui also understood the current situation and said, then we'll go back first. Let's go, we'll go to Rhinoceros Valley. Su Jin said. Master, I want to go to Red Cloud Ridge. Sima Yue said. Red Cloud Ridge was not a domain, but the name of a mountain range. Although it was only 1 word different from Red Cloud Ridge, the difference was huge. But Su Jin looked at Sima Yue in confusion. This little fellow, didn't she hear him say that he would not go with those people? Master, my attribute is more compatible with ghosts. If I go to Red Cloud Ridge, I'll be more useful. Sima Yue winked at Su Jin. She would not say that she wanted to steal the 100 Ghost banner in front of so many people. Su Jin saw her like this and knew that she had her own thoughts. His expression was tangled and he was silent for a few seconds before saying, then be careful. Teacher Su, it's not good to let her go there alone, right? A teacher disagreed. That old fellow had already been angered to such an extent by Su Jin. Now that his student had gone there alone, it was hard to guarantee that the old fellow wouldn't hurt her. What are you afraid of? Su Jin said, with that ugly old woman's ability, she can't hurt Yue. Alright, you can go. He waved at Sima Yue. Sima Yue originally wanted to ask Su Jin why he was targeting the old woman, but it seemed like she could only ask later. I'll take my leave then. Sima Yue bowed to everyone in the school and went to the other side. When the old woman saw Sima Yue walking over, she glared at her with killing intent. This brat actually dared to come here alone. Then don't blame her. Sima Yue felt the old woman's killing intent and turned around to face her. Why didn't Su Jin bring his other student with him this time? Someone beside her said to the person beside her. You're talking about the student who attracted the lightning tribulation and killed hundreds of experts? That's right. That student's lightning tribulation is so powerful. If she could come and use the lightning tribulation to deal with these people, wouldn't it be easy? I don't think Su Jin dares to bring that student out, right? Many people from various powers have clearly said that if they see that student, they will take her life. Although the Heavenly Sect said that they would protect that student, outside, there will always be times when they're careless. It's better for her to stay in the school. Those people deserve it. They clearly wanted to steal the school's auspicious beast, but they were killed in the end and blamed it on a little child. All right, who told those people to be so narrow-minded? From what I see, if they steal the auspicious beast, they won't let it and that brat's life go. Sigh, it's a pity that brat can't come. Otherwise, if the heavenly lightning strikes, who would be lucky enough to survive? Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. It seemed that not everyone was like those people. There were still people with justice. At this time, the teams were divided. Their strength was about half on each side. Those who were stronger had already broken through the void and headed towards their destination. Follow us. That guy won't dare to do anything to you. Cho Xiaotian came to Sima Yue's side and said to her with a smile. Xingyang sect was also going to Red Cloud Ridge, so they could go together. Sima Yue saw that Cho Xiaotian didn't seem to be surprised by the matter between Su Jin and the old woman. She asked, "Do you know why my master is targeting her?" Cho Xiaotian looked at her in astonishment. "You don't know?" Sima Yue shook her head and said, "Could it be that my master once pursued her and was hurt by her?" "Yes and no. I didn't think that your disciple wouldn't know. This is a major event in your master's life." Cho Xiaotian said. "What do you mean yes and no? Hurry up and tell me." Sima Yue poked his arm. "There was indeed someone who was hurt by that person, but it wasn't your master, it was your master's good friend. Later on, that person died, and it was said that she couldn't get away with it. Your master even went to her sect to cause trouble, but unfortunately, her sect protected her. However, this matter was very big at that time. That's why everyone knows." Cho Xiaotian said. Sima Yue finally understood why these people weren't surprised when they saw Su Jin targeting this woman. "Let's go," Wang Shi said to Cho Xiaotian and the others. Sima Yue raised her head and saw that everyone had left. Only the people from Xingyang sect were left. Wang Shi was looking at them. It seemed that Wang Shi was waiting for them to finish talking. Thinking about how a sect leader was waiting for her, Sima Yue smiled embarrassedly. She didn't know how many times her impression of him improved. Wang Shi opened a spatial tunnel and brought the people from Xingyang sect in. Sima Yue and Cho Xiaotian were behind. They saw that Yan Ling looked back at them when she went in. Her eyes were filled with dissatisfaction. "Don't mind her. Little junior sister just hates people from the Ghost Clan. She wants to go there as soon as possible." Cho Xiaotian said. "I understand." Sima Yue nodded. She didn't mind a little girl who hated evil. She heard that this Yan Ling liked Cho Xiaotian and brought him a lot of trouble. Those female senior and junior sisters all stayed away from him. Those senior and junior brothers all wanted to find trouble with him. However, she was dressed as a man. She wouldn't treat her as an imaginary love rival. When they came out of the spatial tunnel, the first thing they saw wasn't the sky full of evil spirits. Instead, it was the piles of bones in the valley. It almost filled the entire valley. The evil aura filled the sky. Chapter 773. There are so many skeletons. Yan Ling couldn't help but cover her mouth and cry out when she saw the skeletons. Such a large valley was completely filled with corpses and bones. There were at least 1,000,000 stones, and they were all piled up here. That scene was simply shocking. For those who had experienced great storms, this was still acceptable, but for juniors like Yan Ling, they had never seen it before. Sima Yue looked at the scene below and thought that it was even more magnificent than what she had created in the dark forest. "What about those ghosts?" Cho Xiaotian asked. "There's no one. Is this the wrong place?" "No, the ghost chi here is very strong. He should have been here not long ago," Xiaoyi said. "Could it be that they have already left this place?" Cho Xiaotian asked. Sima Yue pointed at the corpse. "It's here. In the corpse." Yan Ling didn't believe it. She condensed her spiritual power and hid it. Sima Yue tried to stop him, but it was too late. When the flames landed on the corpses immediately burst into flames that were a few meters tall. Then, all the corpses burst into black flames. Countless black shadows came out of the corpses. Chilling winds blew around the valley, and countless evil spirits screamed. The cries of the evil spirits pierced everyone's eardrums. Everyone hurriedly mobilized their spirit energy to defend themselves. An expert like Wang Shi could easily eliminate the evil spirits around them with a wave of his hand. There were quite a few experts who came this time, but it was as if there was no end to those evil spirits. One after another appeared. "Not good, we've fallen into some kind of formation." Someone shouted. "What should we do?" We don't understand the formations of the ghost clan. How would we know what to do? We can't kill all of these evil spirits, but our spiritual energy isn't limitless. Sima Yoyue's body was engulfed in raging flames. The evil spirits could not even get close to her, and she did not have to expend any energy to deal with them. Yanling, who was not far away, was scared silly. Her father, Cho Xiaotian's master, was protecting her. Seeing that she was still in a daze, he pulled her back to reality with a shout and joined the others to deal with it. However, no matter how many he killed, those evil spirits seemed to be endless. It could even be said that their numbers did not decrease at all. Although there were some experts around, this was also a solution. Even though those people were usually experienced and knowledgeable, they were still helpless against the ghost clan's array formation. Cho Xiaotian had always been near Yue. When she saw that he couldn't handle it, she would occasionally help him eliminate some. Yue, thank you. Cho Xiaotian smiled gratefully at Sima Yue. Watch your front. Sima Yue reminded. A person who was not very strong was entangled by a few evil spirits. Those evil spirits were passing through his body. He suddenly screamed and fell from the sky, no longer breathing. Yanling screamed when she saw more and more evil spirits attacking her. Wang Shi was by her side. With a wave of his hand, a wave of spiritual energy dispersed all the evil spirits around her. Then, a gentle force rolled her to his side so that he could take care of her from time to time. We really can't go on like this. Cho Xiaotian said as he took out a pill and ate it after dispersing a bunch of evil spirits. Sima Yoyue's gaze darkened as she asked Little Spirit to ask the 2 ghost clan members in her heart. These 2 ghost clan members had already been tortured in the spirit pagoda to the point that they didn't have any thoughts. When Little Spirit asked, they told him the truth. That's the evil spirits swallowing heaven array. It's a big array of the ghost clan. To be able to set up such an array, it's definitely an almighty from the ghost clan. One of the ghost clan members said. Almighty? Sima Yue frowned. But thinking about it, if there wasn't an almighty, the entire bright red mountain peak wouldn't have become a land of death. Is there any way to break it? Little Spirit asked. I don't know. That person shook his head. I know, I've heard of it before. It seems like you just have to extinguish one of the flames in the middle. Which one is it? I don't know about that. Sima Yue looked at the flames in the valley. There were thousands of them. To find one was easier said than done. Moreover, there wasn't even a hint. I can feel it, Little Roar said. Sima Yue carried Little Roar out and carried him as she flew around the valley. After that, he pointed at a flame and said, It should be this one. Are you sure? Sima Yue asked worriedly. These flames were too strange. It was as if they were using these lives as fuel for the lamps. If she made a mistake, she didn't know if there would be any other effects. We are the most sensitive towards things from the ghost realm. As long as there's a slight change, I will know. Little Roar said, There are so many flames. This one is slightly stronger than the others. Then let's try it. Sima Yue sighed and said, She originally thought that she would be able to snatch the 100 ghost banner. She didn't expect that the array would be activated by Yanling the moment she arrived. Now, she didn't see anyone with the 100 ghost banner. Instead, she saw so many evil spirits. She condensed her fire-attributed spirit energy and fiercely attacked the flames. After attacking once, the number of evil spirits decreased by quite a bit. Woo-woo, the remaining evil spirits seemed to feel threatened. Those that were close to Sima Yue all left their current targets and attacked Sima Yue. In a short while, the evil spirits decreased by quite a bit. Everyone present could feel it. Seeing that the evil spirits were attacking her while she was attacking the flame, everyone understood that she was breaking the array. Quickly protect her! Wang Shi shouted. Because there were fewer evil spirits, there were no more new evil spirits. Those strong warriors naturally freed up their hands to help Sima Yue. Sima Yue didn't want Crimson Flame to be exposed in front of these old spirits. Thus, she kept using her own flames. Naturally, the effect of dealing with these flames was weaker. However, the good thing was that those evil spirits couldn't hurt her. That was why Wang Shi and the others didn't need to help her. Just at this moment, she felt a murderous intent from behind her. Her intuition told her that there was danger behind her. Without thinking, she dodged from her original position. At the same time, a spirit energy turned into a fire arrow and pierced through where she was originally standing. She raised her head and saw that it was that damned old woman. "Ugly old woman, how dare you sneak attack me from behind? You're courting death," she scolded. She decisively didn't extinguish the flame and flew towards the old woman. Wang Shi and the others naturally saw that Sima Yue was sneakily attacked. Everyone was unhappy. That old woman didn't expect Sima Yue to be so sharp as to dodge her attack. Seeing her flying over, she sneered and condensed her spirit energy to attack her. Who knew that Sima Yue would stop halfway? She turned and flew in another direction. At the same time, she released her spirit energy to attack the old woman's flame. Chapter 774. When that damned old woman saw Sima Yu running away, she thought that she was afraid of her, which was why she ran away. Sima Yu's attack that was neither painful nor itchy, so she didn't take it to heart. Please search to see the most complete. Update the fastest. However, the flame that was already a little weak after being attacked by Sima Yu was like a person who was about to starve to death suddenly drinking a cup of milk, immediately reviving with full health. As soon as it revived, the other flames also revived. Those flames all rushed up, and many evil spirits appeared in the air. They bared their fangs and brandished their claws as they attacked the group. The flames below the damned old woman were the first to reignite, and the evil spirit beside her was also the first to appear. As soon as those wraiths appeared, they attacked her, catching her off guard. Everyone was stunned for a moment. They did not expect such a situation to occur. Wasn't it almost healed just now? Why did it suddenly become like this? F***y, Bien Shuing, look at what you've done. Some hot-tempered people directly cursed. After fighting with the evil spirits for so long, they were affected by the death aura. Their mentality was a little bad. It was not easy to find a solution, but this guy actually dared to launch a sneak attack. Some people were not in the mood to scold her and went straight to Sima Yue's position. However, they realized that the position of the flames seemed to have changed in an instant. They attacked the spot where Sima Yue had attacked, but the flames burned even brighter. "Old Huang, don't attack so casually. Haven't you realized that if you don't attack the right flame, it will have the opposite effect?" Someone scolded. Some people immediately understood that only Sima Yue knew how to extinguish the flames. "Yue, my young friend, don't argue with this old woman. Think of a way to extinguish this fire." Sima Yue did not even look at those people and said, "Seniors, you are all the strongest of the strongest. You should be able to hold on for a while. As for this evil spirit swallowing heaven formation, I'll talk about it after I've dealt with my personal matters." This Bian Shuiping dared to attack her from behind. If she wanted to kill her, then she had to accept her anger and revenge. That guy was stronger than him. If he killed all these evil spirits, how was he going to take revenge? Pa! She condensed a lightning bolt and struck it towards Bian Shuiping. Although the old woman was surrounded by evil spirits, she sensed the danger and dodged it. But before it could stop for even a second, the next bolt of lightning came. This time, there were two bolts at the same time. This time, she was not so lucky. She dodged the first lightning bolt, but she did not dodge the second. Her body was struck by lightning, and the electric current sizzled on her body. "You little brat, how dare you sneak attack me?" Bian Shuiping glared at her fiercely, as if she wanted to tear her into pieces. Sima Yu was frightened by her imposing manner and waved the lightning attribute spirit energy in her hand, saying, "Shameless old woman, you were the one who sneaked an attack on me first. Now you have the nerve to say that I sneaked an attack on you. So bite me. I'm going to kill you," Bian Shuiping shouted. "Kill you?" Sima Yu cursed and directly released another bolt of lightning. Then she quickly condensed her fire attribute spirit energy and attacked the flame near her. When the younger girls beside Bian Shuiping saw the evil spirits suddenly appear beside them, they immediately cried out, "Die!" Bian Shuiping was enraged by the lightning and evil spirits. She attacked Sima Yue several times. The attacks came from all directions towards Sima Yue. She wanted to trap her in the middle. She was just a little brat. How dare she hurt her? She had to kill her. Bian Shuiping, you're crazy. If you kill her, who's going to break this array? Someone shouted. Wang Shi was far away. By the time he noticed, Bian Shuiping's attack was already close to Sima Yue. Yue! Chou Xiaotian shouted when he saw the spirit energy coming towards Sima Yue. He did not care about the danger of being hurt by the evil spirits. He gave up on attacking the evil spirits in front of him and attacked the spirit energy. Unfortunately, he was much weaker than Bian Shuiping. He only managed to disperse one of her attacks. The rest of the attacks flew towards Sima Yue. Sima Yue did not move. She did not form a protective shield. To others, she looked like she was scared silly. Yue, run! Chou Xiaotian shouted when he saw that his attacks were useless and Sima Yue did not react. Swoosh! Another wave of spirit energy was dispersed. It was Wang Shi who sent help from behind. Unfortunately, he only managed to disperse the spirit energy at the back. In fact, from the moment Bian Shuiping released her spirit power to the moment it reached Sima Yu, it was just a blink of an eye. Many people didn't have time to react and could only watch Sima Yu get hit. Then, just as the spirit energy was about to reach Yue, she disappeared. Following that, the sound of a sharp weapon piercing into a body could be heard. Everyone looked over and was shocked by the scene in front of them. Sima Yue, who was supposed to be dead, appeared behind Bian Shuiping and stabbed a dagger into her heart. Teleport, teleport. Someone looked at Sima Yue in disbelief. She knew how to teleport. Pooh! Sima Yue pulled the dagger out. Blood spurted out and dyed everyone's eyes red. After she pulled the dagger out, she took the opportunity to retreat and avoided the attacks from the people around Bian Shuiping. Master! Master, are you all right? A female disciple beside her held onto her falling body and shouted in fear. Bian Shuiping could not say a word. Her gaze slowly became unfocused. Master, quickly eat this pill. Another disciple stepped forward and took out a pill for her to eat. Yes. Master, take the pill. You will be fine after taking the pill. Sima Yue watched from afar and did not stop them. She knew that even if she took the pill, she would not be able to survive. Ling Long trembled excitedly in her hand. When it pierced the person's heart just now, it had added something. How could a normal pill save her life? Bian Shuiping's disciple looked on hopefully as she took the pill. However, her condition did not improve. The life in her body was still draining rapidly. When the evil spirits smelled the scent of life, they swarmed towards her and entered her body through her wound. The disciple who was supporting her was attacked by the evil spirits. She instinctively tried to block them. Once she let go, she fell towards the pile of corpses in the valley. After the evil spirits finished sucking the life out of her body, they floated out of her body. At this moment, flames spread from the side and her corpse was instantly set ablaze. She killed Bian Shuiping. Chapter 775. If it wasn't for the fact that it was not the right time, those people would have grabbed Sima Yue and asked her how she could teleport and control the wave movement without Bian Shuiping noticing. Follow the dream, said the little dog, visit. Copyoakis. Sima Yue, you killed my master. A woman attacked Sima Yue. Unfortunately, her strength was only on par with Sima Yue. Unfortunately, her combat strength was far inferior, and her intelligence was even worse. Sima Yue didn't even need to attack her personally. She just needed to use her spiritual energy to increase the number of evil spirits around her. The woman was surrounded by evil spirits. Thinking that they would run into her body, She screamed in fright and waved the long sword made of spiritual energy around randomly. How dare you kill the people of my White Cloud Cave? When we go back, we'll definitely ask our masters to punish you. One of the girls shouted at Sima Yue. Are you reminding me not to let you leave today? Sima Yue raised her eyebrows and looked at them mockingly. A bunch of people who only knew how to talk about their sections. Looking at them, he didn't feel good at all. Should he just kill them right here and now? Little friend, which flame did you attack just now? The younger ones were already having a hard time. If this continued, many of them would probably be injured by the inexhaustible evil spirits. Sima Yue was not so kind this time. She said, I don't know how I found that flame. Little friend, please help us. Another person pleaded while killing the evil spirits. I'm afraid of being ambushed. Sima Yue said, I almost lost my life just now. If I get ambushed again, who knows if I can still escape. Don't worry, little friend. We'll definitely protect you. Young friend, I know that you're not the type to leave me in the lurch. Everyone's lives are in your hands. In the future, we will definitely remember your kindness in saving our lives. Xiao Yi said in a sincere tone. Sima Yue glanced at Xiao Yi. This guy really knew how to talk. This was what she wanted, but she was too embarrassed to say it out loud. City Lord Xiao is right. We will remember this little friend's kindness. Wang Shi also said. Sima Yue saw that he had spoken, so she didn't want to be pretentious anymore. He wanted to save her just now, so it wasn't good for her to be pretentious. I'll try and see if I can find it, but I can't guarantee that I'll find it. Yue said. Little friend, just go. Xiao Yi said Yue's voice. Sima Yu hugged Little Roar and walked one round around the valley. To walk in the midst of so many corpses, it required a lot of courage. The smells, especially after being burned by the flames, the smell's odor was unbearable. She didn't know how Little Roar's nose, which was more sensitive than a dog's, was able to endure this kind of environment. However, she was able to use his dog's nose to find the flame's location. When Sima Yu condensed her fire attribute spirit energy and prepared to attack, one of the ghost clansmen in the spirit pagoda suddenly said, if she uses her lightning attribute spirit energy to attack, she will be able to disintegrate them directly. Little Spirit sensed for a moment. After confirming that he wasn't lying, he told Sima Yue about this. Sima Yue was stunned for a moment. She dispersed her fire attribute spirit energy and condensed her lightning attribute spirit energy to attack the flame. In order to increase the effect, she even mixed in a little purple top-grade sky lightning. When the lightning landed on the flames, it traveled along the flames and into the corpses below. After making a circle around the corpses, it was transmitted out. Wherever the lightning passed through, the flames would slowly become smaller and eventually extinguish. When the flames disappeared, the evil spirits also disappeared along with them. Some people were still fighting with the evil spirits. In the end, just as they released their spirit energy, the target disappeared and the spirit energy almost hurt the people in front of them. Sima Yue looked at the charred valley and sighed in her heart. There! Suddenly, someone shouted. Everyone followed his gaze and saw a group of ghost clan members standing on a cliff far away. Sima Yue looked over and saw Deja in the middle. The two of them looked at each other and had a strange feeling in their hearts. Behind him, she saw the person who took the 100 Ghost banner to kill her. This meant that the 100 Ghost banner was with these people. Sima Yue wanted to fly over and kill these people, then snatch the 100 Ghost banner. However, before she could move, the figures of these people slowly faded away. At this moment, the ghost master beside Deja suddenly shot out an aura. Wang Shi and the rest saw it and condensed their spirit energy to attack it. They did not know what that aura was, but it went straight through their spirit energy and headed straight for Sima Yue. In an instant, it entered her body. Sima Yue felt as if her body had fallen into a 10,000-year-old ice cellar. The aura quickly spread through her body and froze her body. She only felt that her body was stiff and she could not use her spirit energy. She fell down involuntarily. Yue! Cho Xiaotian was shocked and flew over to catch her. Yue, are you okay? Sima Yue blinked at him, then closed her eyes and fainted. The ghost master saw that she fainted and was shocked. He wanted to do something, but because he was already on his way back, he had no choice but to disappear from the top of the mountain. Yue, wake up. Cho Xiaotian carried Sima Yue and landed on the cliff. He anxiously called out her name. Let me take a look. Wang Shi came over and grabbed Yue's hand. He wanted to check on her condition, but he realized that his spirit energy could not enter her body at all. It was blocked by a force. Bring her back first. We will go to the Rhinoceros Valley to check on the situation there. If it is good, we will bring her master back. Wang Shi ordered. Yes, sect leader. Wang Shi opened a space tunnel. Cho Xiaotian carried Sima Yue and went in. Those juniors are tired after this battle. Why don't we let them go back to rest and recuperate? Let's go there and take a look. Wang Shi said to the elders. Okay. Those juniors were worried when they heard that Wang Shi wanted to go there. However, when they heard that there was no need to go, they heaved a sigh of relief. One by one, they went back through the space tunnel. Cho Xiaotian brought Sima Yue back to the Chiu family. The Chiu sisters were waiting for everyone in the courtyard. When they saw that Sima Yue was carried back, they ran over and asked, What happened to young Master Sima? He fainted. Is there a room here? Cho Xiaotian asked. Yes. This way. Chiu Rui said as she opened the door to a bedroom. Cho Xiaotian carried Sima Yue and walked over. He placed her on the bed. The bed was frozen in an instant. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.